was not crisp. That was cheese.
Oh, I thought you meant it wasn't crisp.
No, I picked up a scrap of what I thought was leftover crisps from my lunch off the table. It turns out it was cheese.
Off the table?
Yeah.
Ew. It's probably like 2 days old, that cheese.
Oh well, it's only a little bit.
That's disgusting.
I think that should be the intro line. Forget about your really good intro. I think that should be the intro.
Do you know what? I'm happy to just start like that. I can't believe... It's an omen for how today's gonna go, I reckon. Velvet just ate a piece of old cheese. Welcome to Lost All Caps.
Hi.
What... Did you see what colour it was?
I mean, it was orange because I thought it was a crisp.
Ah, so it is some of my cheese.
So I was going to say, it's your cheese. I assumed it was from your lunch.
Well,
But
I've
you've
not
not
had
eaten
lunch,
have you?
so... But I had a sandwich last night when we got back in from your...
Yeah, and you were
thing.
sitting here, so it'll be from yesterday.
Yeah, so only a few hours old.
It's not that bad.
Only at least 8.
Less than 24 hours.
Less than 24 hours.
So it's fine, really. Welcome to Lost All Caps.
I'm Ariel.
And I'm Velvet. And this is...
Velvet just ate a piece of old cheese.
And I'm Velvet Brackets who just ate a piece of old cheese.
From Piece of Old Cheese fame.
And this is our last episode of season 1.
I know!
So excited.
This is our recap and rankings episode. And I have to say, this has been the episode that... It might be the episode I've been the most excited for.
Yeah, me too, to be honest.
Like,
Apart from like a couple of episodes like next season.
Oh, yeah. Because next season we're going to get into the good shit. Not that this season hasn't been good, but...
This season has been great. That's why the ranking's been so difficult.
Yes. Oh my gosh. But yeah, we floated this idea quite early on when we were coming up with the concept of the podcast. And so throughout the whole season when we've been recording, we've been going, how would I put this on my ranking? And so I've been thinking about it a lot for a long time. And I have gone massively in depth. I spent like a 3-hour intensive window yesterday going over my list. I'd already made the list. I spent another 3 hours yesterday going over it and just making sure I was completely 100% just grappling with it, rejigging it. Yeah.
I feel the need to say I've put way less effort into this than Ariel has. I've had a very busy month. We were discussing this last record. Ariel has like a whole detailed notes. She's been like rereading stuff from past episodes, trying to get it all correct. What I have is like a list on the back of a flyer for a show I did yesterday, with just like the episodes, and a couple of them have been like scribbled out with arrows because I decided to swap them around.
Incredible.
So that's where we're at.
That's our differences in approach.
Yeah.
But
I have thoughts, I didn't feel the need to write them down.
Oh, okay.
No, I just
I
couldn't be
personally find the concept of a list really restricting.
I mean, there was a moment in time where I considered, for the laughs, I didn't like seriously, I was like, wouldn't it be funny if you did all this detailed list thing and then I just did it off the top of my head? I just went like, ooh, well, I would say the 16th best episode in the show is, and then just like did it all. But I was like, I can't, because I wanted to make a list that was actually my thoughts.
Right. But before we get into the ranking, I'm sure you're all dying to hear, and we're dying to check, because we've not looked at each other's lists
No, we
either.
don't know. And I told
We have no
Ariel about my list. I said my number 1 is a surprise even to me. So
I can't
really
wait
excited.
until we get there.
I'm really excited.
Because to me, it's a no-brainer what the number 1 best episode of the series is.
Really?
Yeah. That was like the main thing I had locked in, because I found it very difficult to make the list. But I knew the worst episode and the best episode were locked in.
I mean, the worst I knew immediately.
It's pretty obvious.
I think you all know what we're going to say. But I kind of marked out my top 10, and I knew they were going to be my top 10. And then I kind of did the middle part, and that was the hardest part. And I got to the top. I got to like my top 5, and I was like, no, yeah, that one is my favourite episode. And I really wasn't expecting it going in, but it is. So
interesting. I did a similar kind of tiered thing. I ranked them all out of 5 first. And then I was like, okay, within the 1 out of 5s, how do I rank those within the 2 out of 5s? But then it got to the 5 out of 5s. There were like 15 episodes in there.
Yeah, the problem is this series especially is so good that it's like it's like best of the best. It's so hard. The creme de la cremes of the show, really. It's like it's so hard.
Yeah. So let's talk about, before we get into the ranking, let's talk about our opinions. Overall thoughts on season 1. Love. Very much on board.
Like, no notes, really. One note.
A couple notes. And I think as well, there are some things that when you watch season 1, you're like, that's amazing. And then later on, they become frustrating.
Yeah.
Because they don't get picked up on, or they don't get picked up on the way that you want them to.
Or some things just never get
answered. And you know what? That's okay. You know, I'm not saying they have to go, here is the answer to every single mystery by the end. But there are there's particularly one really glaring thing, which we won't say, because we want to keep you, if you're a first-time listener, excited like we were to go, oh, but what about that? When are we going to get some more answers to that? And we don't want to crush your dreams that you never do.
I have no idea what Ariel's talking about right now. Can I just say?
Oh my god.
Okay, man.
You don't think there's one thing that you come out of this season massively invested in that then never gets followed up on ever again?
I mean, I think I know what you're getting at.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't say, like, if you'd asked me, like, major unanswered questions from season 1, I wouldn't really be able... I'd have to think about it.
Okay, well, let's talk about where we are in terms of our unanswered questions, or like where we are in the situation of the island right now at the end of the season. So the monster we have an answer for.
Yes. Well, sort of.
Sort of. It's still quite vague, but we have seen this black smoke that attacks John.
And we've got the sort of security system lore.
Theory, yeah.
Of whatever that means.
Yeah.
So sort of.
I
would say that's like a partially answered question.
Yeah. We've been given some breadcrumbs, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've got the others.
The others we've had a bit more of an explanation on now, because we've seen there's more of them.
There's more of them than just Ethan.
And we know they're sort of nefarious.
Mm-hmm. I mean, so Rousseau says they took her child.
Her baby, yeah.
We know that they kidnapped Claire. We're assuming that's because they wanted her baby. And we now know that they have taken Walt.
Yes.
So to me, it's like they have an agenda to try and get children.
Yes, that's what it seems like, to like raise babies on the island.
But I think it's important to note as well that like we know that Walt has these psychic powers, and we also get the idea that Claire's baby is special in some kind of way, you know, like it can't be raised by anyone else, it has to be raised by her, and her influence has to be on the child, and all of this kind of stuff that the psychic says. To me, that's saying the baby is special in some way.
Yeah, seems to be.
So maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe they're really looking for special people, and it just so happens to be the kids.
No, could be. So my stomach just growled really loudly.
It was the cheese.
It was the cheese making it down there.
Oh, fuck.
If I disappear mid-episode, you know why. The cheese has killed me. Yeah, we've had sort of the hatch. The hatch is a big question mark at the minute, isn't it? Mm-hmm. We've got,
we don't know, so what do we know about the hatch? We know
it has the numbers on it.
It has the numbers on it. Huge.
We know it was sealed shut.
Yeah, with no handle. And we know that there is a light. At the very least, there's a light under there. Yeah. Whether there's anyone operating the lights, we don't know. But a light came on.
A light turned on.
A light came on, people. When you said it out like that, it doesn't sound exciting at all, does it?
There's a light and some numbers, and it's like the door's locked.
It's like, you don't understand. I feel like this is what I sound like when I talk about Lost to my friends.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, but you don't understand. And they're like, so there's numbers. And I'm like, yes!
4! You don't get it.
4! 23!
Yeah. So, but we know, but also what we know is that when you open the hatch, it's a tunnel that goes right down. This is obviously what we found out right at the end.
Yes.
So what we know is obviously that we're going to find out what's in the hatch very soon.
Yes.
Yay.
Yay, indeed.
Hope of Rescue. Well, how do we feel about Hope of Rescue at this point in the plot? The raft has been blown up.
Raft's been blown up, so that was not great.
But there's whoever answered the radio.
To be honest, like, I feel like you, at the start of the season, you're thinking about rescue, but then you kind of go, no, but wait, there are loads of cool things on the island.
We want them to stay there.
Yeah.
We kind of don't want them to leave at this point because we want to know what's going on. Yeah. And I think, to be fair, a lot of them at this point have kind of just gone, yeah, we're here now.
I think a lot of them have given up, or at the very least they have more immediate concerns.
Yeah, I feel like it's like bigger things to worry about.
Yeah.
You know?
But this is why it's exciting that the idea of rescue is always in the background. You know, like Michael, when he suddenly goes, like, what are we doing? Why am I spending my time building showers when I could be building a raft to get us home? Like, that's really interesting. When that happens, when that switch happens, it's really interesting as a viewer because you kind of go, oh yeah, you know, they should be trying to get rescued.
Yeah.
And I
think
like
you kind of
that.
forget, it's always like at any given moment, a helicopter could just arrive and take them away, you know, and then we'll never know what any of this is. But like, would they want to stay? You know?
John certainly would.
John definitely would. I mean, Walt wanted to, but now he doesn't.
Well, yeah.
Well, but now
he might not have a choice now.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. I think, my overall thoughts on the season are, I think it's such a good season because you're being introduced to everything for the first time. You know, it's very much, like, it's just really exciting because you're getting all of these new concepts introduced. And, like, so that's reflected in my ranking somewhat because at first I was like, oh, but this reveal is amazing. Mm-hmm. But then I'm also thinking about it now on my third watch through, and I'm like, what would I think a lot of, particularly near the top, because it was hard. It was really hard to rank them. Particularly near the top, I think, what would I choose to go and watch?
Yeah.
If I was putting on an episode.
Think of them like in isolation, If I was to randomly, like if I was to sit down and someone was like, let's watch, I don't know, Pilot Part 2, how excited would I be as if they said, let's watch White Rabbit? So should we get started?
Oh, yes, I'm so excited.
I'm really excited.
I am so excited.
Usually I'm so much more on board to like do the preamble, but this episode I'm like, I want to go
Velvet not yapping?
Exactly.
Can you believe it, people?
Because also some of these I'm so excited for you to hear. Because just some of these I know you're going to be like, what?
I'm kind of, in a way nervous to hear what you've ranked.
So, well, one, you're not going to be surprised to hear.
Come on. Okay, I think we both know.
We're starting with episode 25.
The worst episode. We're going worst to best. So
worst episode of the season.
So ranking at number 25, yeah? Ranking
25th.
25th.
In our list.
Best episode, I guess. So worst episode. 25th.
25th. Say it with me.
Hearts and Minds.
I don't think anything else needs to be said on that, really.
No, not
Weird,
really.
It's creepy, it's bad, it's not good.
Even though we're saying how season 1 is a really excellent season, I think Hearts and Minds is one of the worst episodes in the whole thing.
I would confidently say bottom 3 on the whole series.
I'd confidently say it as well, because the thing is, I have issues with later episodes for different reasons, like, but that makes no sense, or it's boring, or they've taken something and contradicted themselves, or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like an issue with the law, let's say. But this episode, I just fundamentally have an issue.
It's just like, why?
Why did you do that? Why?
And much like why being at the bottom of the alphabet, this is at the bottom of the list.
No, terrible.
Sorry, I thought I had to say it. Before I'd even considered making the list, I knew it would be bottom.
Absolutely. It's undeniable. So,
should we move swiftly on?
I think so.
I mean, I don't really have anything else to say on Hearts and Minds.
So the flashbacks are fucked up. The on-island plotline is like, what? Like, Boone
so weird.
Gets that hallucination. John makes Boone hallucinate. Like, that's all
John's being
fucked
up. Boone's being fucked up. Shannon's being fucked up. Saeed's being weird. It's not a good
Hurley
episode.
has diarrhea. That's like the subplot of the episode.
Why? Take it out of the show. Nothing will change.
What, the whole episode?
Just remove the episode.
Remove it.
If you watched it and you just skipped straight to what is it? You watch whatever the case may be and then you skip straight to special, literally nothing would change.
No. Apart from that is the episode where Kate finds out the son can speak English.
Okay, that's the one
That's the
grace
one
of that
thing.
episode. I think that's also the one, well, that's also John's fuck-ass Michelangelo allegory as well, I think, is that episode.
Ooh, I think that's earlier, actually.
I don't like that. I'm saying it
because I do.
because I don't like it.
I do, and so that's why I think it's not in Hearts and Minds.
But anyway.
Yeah, let's move
number
swiftly
24,
on.
I feel there's a chance
it could be the same. I think so.
Because there's a couple that, most of them I think will be like different. But this, I think there's a chance.
Do you want to try and say it at the same time?
Should we say it together?
Let's see. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Confidence
Homecoming.
Man. Oh!
Okay.
I've gone with Confidence Man next because I really dislike this episode as well. I'm never on board with the Sawyer-centric episode, really, because he's like out of the main characters, he's probably my least favourite, and
Definitely.
So, as we were saying, like, would I choose to watch an episode? I'm never really going to choose to watch a Sawyer-centric episode.
Not really.
So that's the baseline, and then also, it's Sawyer's worst moments in the show.
Yes, no, it is.
In
That's
this
a very good
series, I
point.
mean. Yeah, strap in. There's going to be worse. No, I mean, kind of not, but, like, definitely in this series, he's really creepy, really horrible. He basically, he forces Kate to kiss him and stuff.
Yeah, it's just
He's really
weird.
isolating of everyone else. He lies about having the inhalers just so everyone hates him. Saeed stabs him and puts the bamboo under his fingernails. Jack punches him a bunch and stuff. And it's like...
It's not very nice. It's not a very pleasant watch, is it?
No, Shannon's having an asthma attack. Not great,
It's not a very pleasant watch. No, I agree with you. I have Homecoming.
Yes, okay.
Mostly because of Charlie throwing up on the photocopier. Why? I think Homecoming, my issue with Homecoming is it's so dissatisfying as to what you want it to be. Like, Claire comes back and you're like, okay, we're gonna find out what happened to her and we're gonna figure it all out, and then it's like, it's all about Charlie and his, like, masculinity complex.
Yes.
And it's not, I just don't like it. And, like, the flashbacks are stupid and, like, weirdly comedic for the tone of the show. It's like, Scott gets killed. That sucks. Because it's like kill a faceless extra just for shock value.
Yeah.
I kind of don't like it. Also, it's sad. And then, like, yeah, it's all just a bit, it's not what you want it to be. From, like, the episode where Claire comes back should be really exciting and really cool, and it should be a Claire episode, and it's not.
Yes.
You know?
I heartily agree with that.
I was very dissatisfied watching that episode. So that's where I put it there.
That, I completely agree with what you're saying. I do just think that Confidence Man is worse because of what Sawyer is putting out, essentially. Like, what Charlie's putting out in Homecoming's not good.
At least he's not, like, forcing Claire to kiss him for no reason.
Yeah. But I do completely agree. I think it was this watch through where I kind of went, oh, Homecoming's really shit episode, actually.
Yeah, it really kind of sucks.
I guess what you remember from it, well, I remembered the photocopier thing because I was just like, what the fuck?
But I thought that was way later on.
I thought it was later.
I thought that happened in, like, season 2, those flashbacks.
I definitely thought it was later. But what I remember is Ethan getting shot, right? That's the main thing. Ethan getting shot is
pretty cool.
And that is pretty cool.
No, that is pretty cool.
And pretty exciting, and, like, it's all in the rain and stuff. Whenever it's raining on this show, shit's going down. And it's like, okay. But everything else that happens in that episode is actually, really, really odd and strange.
So, yeah.
In fact, I was going to mention this later, but I'll mention it now. So I was recently on the Lostpedia page for Homecoming because of a little project that I have in the works, little wink, wink, nudge, nudge, something that might be coming soon on the channel. And I found in the trivia section quotes from Damon Lindelof in some kind of interview he did where they asked him what his least favourite episode of all of Lost was, and he says Homecoming.
Oh, well, there you go. Me and Damon.
I found that really interesting because then the interviewer goes, that's not what I expected you to say, because there's an episode later on in season 3 which most people agree is the worst episode of Lost.
It is.
We'll get there in terms of what our opinions are in like 5 years' time. But so the interviewer goes, oh, I expected you to say that one. And he goes, yes, that was a bad episode. And he goes into detail, blah, blah, blah. But then when he says about Homecoming, I wrote it down, what he said.
Go on.
He says, his issue with Homecoming is he thinks it's flawed on almost every single level that an episode of Lost could be.
I agree with that.
And I just found that, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, that's kind of the impression that you take away from watching it.
Should we discuss episode 23? Number 23?
Number 23 on the ranking. Yes, we should, because that's where I have Homecoming.
Okay, see, this one I'm not confident about.
Oh my god.
I have Do No Harm.
What? Do No Harm?
Yes, hear me out.
What?
Hear me out. Hear me out. Because, right, first of all... Oh my god! First of all, Shannon and Saeed's date on the beach.
That's the tiniest part of that episode.
That's why I said first of all. Okay, so first of all, that's weird. It's tonally strange. I don't like it. Second of all, the flashbacks. They're weird. They're tonally wrong. They don't make sense. There's so many weird hard cuts in between. Why is Jack getting married? I don't need to see that. It's weird. It's not. We could have had such more significant flashbacks to Jack's life that could have gone with that episode. Thirdly, Boone dies. I'm sad about this.
Oh my god.
Also, it's gross.
You're so on the Boone train. It's insane.
Gross. He makes a bunch of gross noises. The bit where Jack puts the tube in his arm is gross.
I cannot believe you've put Do No Harm as your third least, like the third worst episode of the season.
I don't like it.
You have to appreciate, even though Boone dies, you have to appreciate the way in which he dies, how dramatic it is, how well shot it is.
The saving grace of that episode is that John's not in it.
Oh my god. How can you even say such a thing?
What
about the beautiful, beautiful scene where Jack is pouring his blood into Boone and Jin shows up and he has to speak to Sun in Korean and tell him that Claire's in labour?
Okay, I mean, Aaron being born, yes, that's
Aaron
a great
being
plotline.
born, what about the lesbians? What about the lesbians, Velvet?
Okay, I'm sorry to the lesbians.
You should be sorry to the lesbians.
And I'm not. I felt weird putting it there too, but I was just like, I just would never choose to watch it.
I cannot believe you've put Do No Harm is below Confidence Man for you.
I mean, maybe not. Maybe I would swap that. But I just
Do No Harm.
I just don't.
You've done harm. You've done harm with this ranking.
I just do not think I think it could have been such a better episode. And
how?
By having flashbacks that make sense.
Okay. The flashbacks do let the episode down.
The flashbacks majorly let the episode down. Watching Saeed and Shannon kiss lets the episode down.
It does. But I can't believe they had a major character death in such a dramatic and gnarly and special effects heavy and intense way. Plus the fucking baby being born, which you've been waiting and expecting for since the beginning of the season, in the same episode, and you've gone, I need more, actually.
I do.
Up your game.
Baby being born is a great plotline, but if you forget about that, the rest of the episode I just don't really like.
Oh my god.
And I find it's upsetting, and it's gross, and I don't like it.
I can't believe you.
The bit where you think he's going to chop off his leg, it's...
No, but isn't that exciting to watch? You're on the edge of your seat.
No, but not in a good way. There are ones where I am in a good way, but this one I'm just...
Ash, I can't believe you. That's so fucking funny. I knew it was going to be low. I was like, oh, Velvet's going to put that low because Boone dies. But at number 23 on the ranking...
It's 23.
You're out of your mind. Don't you try and use the numbers against me. You're out of your mind. That's hilarious. Oh, wow. I was going to say, in my opinion, I think Hearts and Minds, Confidence Man and Homecoming are actually the only bad episodes of the season. That's why they're at the bottom for me. Those were the ones that I ranked 1 out of 5 in my initial ranking. I think those are the only bad episodes, which is pretty good going for a 25 episode season.
No, it is
to only have
good.
3 bad ones. The next tier for me are like not great, but they're not bad.
Yeah.
You know, they're kind of just middle of the road. And we talked about this, I think, when we were recording one of them, where it's like something that's middle of the road goes really low on season 1. Because
it's so the quality is so high.
The quality is so high. But you seem to disagree.
Well, next I have Confidence Man. In retrospect, maybe I'd swap those two around. But I just...
Oh my god.
And I think all the hard cutting between the different plot lines just really takes away from the sort of emotional impact of the episode also. Mainly it's an editing gripe, I feel. And the editing!
And there are lots of really great character moments, you know? Like, we get loads of great stuff from Claire being like, you know, I'm scared about having the baby, I didn't want it, he's gonna know, all of that stuff that's really emotional. Loads of great character moments from Jin, he massively, like, develops in that episode. Loads of great character moments from Kate, she has to step up and deliver a baby. Loads of great character moments from Jack, of him going, I need to fix it, I need to fix Boone. Great character moments from Boone, you know? Great character moments from Sun, nurse era. She's in her nurse era and she's serving. It's a Jack-centric episode and you've put it that low down. You're
I know
a Jack girly.
that is kind of crazy that I was like, I'm putting a Jack episode that low, but I just... It's kind of similar with Homecoming of like, it should be a Claire episode. Like, I feel like a Boone's death episode could have been a Boone episode. If we didn't have the travesty that was Hearts and Minds... Can you imagine if we hadn't had any Boone and Shannon backstory, and then the episode we got it was this episode, and it was like actually good and like nice? How emotionally compelling that
would have been great. That would have been great. I do have to agree.
And like we could have learned something about like his hopes and dreams for the future, and then we watch him die. Like, how sad would that be?
That would have been really, really intense. That would have been really sad. Yeah, for sure. I do agree that the flashbacks in Do No Harm are terrible.
They're awful.
And that's reflected in where I've put it in the list.
Okay.
But I have to let you know.
If you've gone off at me for this long and then it's like next or something, I'm going to go insane.
Imagine. Yeah, number 22. Do not. I have to let you know that I ranked it 5 out of 5 in my initial ranking. Because it's just such an...
5 out of 5?
Exciting.
For the Shannon Saeed date episode.
But the Shannon and Saeed date is
Jack's
such a small
wedding,
part of
where
it.
he puts his feet in a swimming pool for no reason.
You've got to think about
There
how
is no way that's a 5 out of 5
compelling it is to watch Boone's death and Aaron's birth all in one go.
A 5 out of 5 episode is an episode that's perfect. That's not a perfect episode.
Well, I think very few of them are perfect.
Well, then you shouldn't have ranked them all 5 out of 5. Then.
It's a 5 out of 5 system. Do you know what I mean? There are tiers, basically. It's just... I didn't do 0.5s or anything like that. I made sure I was just doing it generally.
It should have been at least a 4.
Not to me. Because it's got so many, like, moments that I love, like the Sun and Jin moment and the bit Jin and Claire moment.
Yeah, no, those bits are nice, but, like, you can't...
And the end where he goes, he didn't die, he was murdered. Jack, where are you going? To find John Lark. Doo-doo.
Yeah, but you can't call it a perfect episode, but it's not.
I'm not calling it a perfect episode.
A 5 out of 5 is perfect. Because
No,
5 out of
that's
5
not-
is all the stars possible.
That's not what I was going for with the 5 with the out 5
Well, that's
rankings.
bullshit then. Your ranking system is bullshit.
Anyway, number 22 on my list is Outlaws.
Okay.
Again, it's a Sawyer-centric one.
Yeah.
So it's low down the list for me. However, I do really like the flashbacks in this one. I've talked about the scene where he's ordering the shrimp from Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Love that scene. Other bits
asking for hot sauce.
Yeah.
It is a great moment.
Other bits in that episode, less good flashbacks wise, i.e. Christian turns up, not happy.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we've got, like, the Never Have I Ever game. Ugh, so cringe and awful. Yeah, and then, like, the B plot's kind of fun, like, with Charlie being approached by everyone else. Like, Saeed comes over and gives him some advice on, you know, what it was like to kill.
Yeah, it is kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's like, it's definitely better than Confidence Man, you
Yes, for sure. I did think about maybe putting it a bit higher, but I was like, again, every episode in this season is really good, and so it's like...
can't. No, there's a lot of episodes that I go, wow, that's really that low, but it's like, then I look at the top of the list and I go, it is that low.
Yeah. Like, so for example, if we were doing all the episodes in Lost in one big ranking, there would be a gulf between Homecoming and Outlaws, I can tell you that for free.
Definitely.
But for me, in ranking season 1, it's Outlaws next.
Yeah, well, as I said, I have Confidence Man in 22. All the same reasons you said, really. It's just not great.
Something I wanted to flag about Confidence Man. So as I was making this list, I was rereading my notes that I made for the podcast episodes before. Something I wanted to flag now that we're at the end of the season. There's a scene in Confidence Man where Saeed's trying to figure out who attacks him and broke the signal thing. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, it couldn't have been Sawyer because he set off the bottle rocket. And then John's going like, you could make a fuse and delay it, just use a cigarette. And then that's what prompts Saeed to think, oh, it was Sawyer.
Yeah.
It was John!
Manipulative fucking bastard.
Who attacked Saeed. I may have forgotten. I can't remember. But I was like, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah. John was just stirring the pot.
He fully obviously goes, Saeed and Sawyer hate each other, so he's gonna go, everyone knows how to make a fuse, and so Saeed thinks it's Sawyer.
Yeah. Why is he doing that?
Because when he said that, I was like, I would never think that.
No. And it's a blatant lie, because he knows who knocked Saeed out. It was him.
Because it was him. But it's like Sawyer has cigarettes.
Is he trying to take the blame off him? Or is he just trying to cause drama within the group?
I think he's trying to make sure Saeed doesn't think it's him. Because at that point in time, John is like, if I told you, you would have hated me.
Yes, he does say that later on, doesn't he? He's like, everyone was too focused on getting off the island, and it's like, you weren't ready to hear that there's good stuff on the island,
so I
or
think
whatever.
He was just trying to make sure they didn't find out it was him.
But I was like, oh my god. Couldn't believe that when I was looking back at it. I was like, shit, man. John.
Okay, so 21.
Yes.
Should we say it together?
I don't think we should, because now I have no idea what's going to come out of your mouth.
I think this is funny. I want to keep saying them together.
Right, okay. 3, 2, 1.
Born
Whatever
to
the
Run.
case may be. Born to Run, okay.
Born to Run.
Okay. So I've gone for Whatever the Case May Be at number 21. It's lower down because of the title. I'm going to say that right now. I quite like the flashbacks. The Shut Up Jason does make me giggle. I think it's quite a nice kind of enclosed narrative that we're presented with in the flashbacks, which is fun.
I think so.
But the on-island stuff...
The Looney Tunes.
The Looney Tunes with the case, the headbutting, when she's grabbing it from between his legs and stuff, and then he pins her to the floor. I'm just like, ugh. The swimming in jeans.
Swimming in jeans is criminal.
Finding the skeletons and all of that in the
cool.
water.
That's
finding the
creepy.
skeletons in the water is cool, but it's the lead up to it
The lead up is weird.
that I'm just like, no. And also, Whatever the Case May Be is the start of Shannon and Saeed's relationship.
Yeah.
Because that's when he goes up to her and asks if she can help him translate the French.
But then you get Somewhere Beyond the Sea. That's nice, isn't it?
No, because it's so obviously not her singing.
I mean, that's true. But you get the computer movie with the fish.
You do get the line, the computer movie with the fish, which I do enjoy.
It's a great line.
So like, whatever the case may be, was bumped up a few spots because of that end bit, which is quite fun. The Rose and Charlie plot line, which I like. And the digging up of the Marshal, which is great.
Cool and creepy.
But it was moved down a few spots because of the Looney Tunes, because of the title, because of this Shannon and Saeed.
Yeah. I mean, I have Born to Run. I think when you weigh up like Born to Run or whatever the case may be, I much prefer the bank robbery plotline to her visiting her mum in the hospital and like Tom. I think the problem with the flashbacks in Born to Run is Kate's kind of fully the villain. So it's kind of hard to sort of sympathise with. I'm like, no, but you did kind of break into a man's life and like home wreck him and then get him killed immediately. It's kind of like, I'm like, girl, I love you, but like, what are you doing there? You know? It's just a little bit... And I think like the payoff is quite nice in the sense of like, obviously the man she killed, but that's not her crime. That's not why she's on the run. I like that as like a thing. And that we find out what the plane is, but I just think I wasn't crazy about it. And I think like the on island storyline, it's like that period, the run of like after Do No Harm, it's like Born to Run and then The Greater Good, and it's like the on island plot line is kind of nothing, because it's kind of just like they're gearing up for the finale, so they don't want to pull too many triggers, so the on island plot kind of doesn't go anywhere. And I think like if you have like Born to Run and The Greater Good flashbacks really keep that episode up, but with Born to Run the flashbacks it's very mediocre to me. I love Kate, but it's just very much middle of the road. Also, the title is stupid.
I think the title is less stupid than whatever the case may be.
At least whatever the case may be is like stupid in a whimsical way. Born to Run is just stupid.
Shouldn't be whimsical though.
It should be whimsical.
No, it shouldn't. Fucking Lord of the Files ass.
Where would you rank Lord of the Files?
Number 1.
Obviously.
So I actually have Born to Run next. So I have that at number 20.
So I have Outlaws, and then I have Whatever the Case May Be. So we've had a very similar sort of run.
Yeah. So we're kind of on the same wavelength, apart from the insane ranking of Do No Harm.
We've gotten back on track.
So I agree with your reasoning, but I disagree with your judgment. I'm going with as a phrase.
Okay.
In that I prefer the Kate and Tom flashbacks to the Shut Up Jason flashbacks. So that's what just bumped it just above for me. I agree that Kate's the villain, but I kind of like that perspective, you know? Because obviously Kate's such a hero on the island. You know, she's like the second main character after Jack, and no one ever questions, ever, that she's not a good person or anything like that until this episode.
And then suddenly it's like, oh, no, I agree with that.
So that, I think that is really interesting, but also I do feel sorry for her in the flashbacks because, you know, because of her mum especially, you know, her mum's dying and she just wants to see her, and then her mum freaks out in that way and tries to give her up, and it's like, yeah, I do feel sorry for Kate, even though I do agree that she absolutely is the villain in Tom's life.
Yeah, no, I do. I'm not mad about that. About those being like the other way around. I think it's unfortunate, but I think a lot of Kate's episodes are not brilliant.
Yeah, I felt bad about this as well, because so Kate has 3 episodes in this season, and they're all quite low for me.
They're all just kind of okay,
and
you know?
Yeah, which is weird, because it's kind of shocking when you first find out that Kate's the criminal, you know? And it's like, oh wow, this character who, when you know, when you watch episode 1, I kind of get the impression she's going to be our stereotypical female lead, you know, is actually not, and she's got a lot of depth to her, and she's got this criminal past and this edge, I guess, to her character. She's not just the beautiful woman who's hiking through the jungle. And that's interesting, but then when you actually get an episode focused on her, tends not to be as interesting.
Yeah, it just tends to not be as good. And I think also it's one of those things of watching it back. It's like when you first watch it, it's crazy revolutionary. Kate's the criminal. Oh my God, what did she do? But like knowing, like, you know her, like by season 6, you're like, yeah, who cares about the Marshal, you know? Like knowing her.
Not me. I always care about the Marshal.
But you know what I mean? Like, you know, you know her and you kind of don't care that she's the criminal. And so I think they really don't hit nearly as much as they do the first time round as well.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair comment. I don't really remember, you know. Again, because I think what it is for me, when I'm watching the show, especially for the first time, but in general, the stuff that I'm super interested in is all the magical kind of mystery stuff. So the numbers, for example, I love the numbers and I love everything to do with the numbers and like Walt's psychic powers and all of that kind of stuff. The Hatch, Kate's stuff, less interesting
It's
because
it's a bit too normal.
It's normal. It's the real world.
Yeah.
And I think that's all it boils down to, really.
Yeah. It's just kind of regular. It's kind of like I don't want to be watching, you know, CSI. I want to be watching Crazy Island show, you know?
Traffic cops.
Traffic cops. Yeah, so I've got Outlaws at number 20. Kind of all the same reasons you said. It's like I think we've got it the same as it's like 2 above Confidence Man.
Do we both? I have it 1 above. Yeah, no. So I have 1 in between.
1 in between, yeah. That's the same as me.
Yeah.
It's like it's better, I think, for the significance, I think, of Sawyer killing the guy. I was like, that feels more powerful, you know? So it went a little bit higher up.
So you've put Born to Run below that.
Born to Run at 21 and Outlaws at 20.
Gotcha.
Because I was just like, I think, yeah, and I like that it's one of the moments. Also, the childhood flashback.
Yes.
That really gets me. And I felt like I couldn't put that too low because that is like one of the most upsetting scenes of like the whole show.
That's completely fair.
That scene with little Sawyer, and I was like, that I had it lower originally, and then I kind of remembered that moment and I went, oh no, it needs to go up a little bit because that's a really powerful moment.
I was toying with whatever the case may be, Born to Run and the one that comes next, not to spoil it. I was trying to figure out the right order for those for a very long time. And I did end up having to go on the B plots because I kind of felt like a lot of the flashbacks were basically on par. A lot of the main plot lines were basically on par. So I was looking at the B plot lines and the yes, we do.
Yeah.
So cool.
I do appreciate Kate's, like, kill your husband. That's funny.
But we don't even get that scene.
Kate's
do you know
actual
what I mean?
plot line,
yeah,
I don't really care about, but the fact that Kate went to Sun and was like, kill your husband, is really funny. But like, yeah, we don't actually see that happen. We just know that happened. And that's kind of like, is that as good?
Yeah. Yeah, and we also have the, Claire gives Charlie a haircut. Look, I know it's one tiny scene.
No, it is cute though.
But it's
this
lovely.
one's called Monster Eats the Pilot.
Monster Eats the Pilot, come on.
It's also got the say with Walt, don't open it.
Don't open it, yes.
That's good.
Brilliant, brilliant moment. Really exciting, really cool. So I think that's what bumped it above whatever the case may be for me.
That's fair. I've got whatever the case may be at number 19.
Okay.
I think it was mostly just, it was another thing of between Born to Run, whatever the case may be, I prefer the bank robbery plotline. I think the setting of it up as it belonged to the man I killed is kind of cooler than the payoff.
Ooh,
to me.
Do I agree?
And the plane, obviously it's cool because it's a plane.
It's
and
a
they're on
plane.
And like digging up the Marshal and then finding the skeletons, all the stuff we've already said that was pretty cool. Just kind of bumped it up a little bit. Also, I think the title's funny.
No, title's
awful. I know
I think actually I might disagree. And say the payoff is better than the setup.
Really?
I'm not sure. Do
you not think the man I love, the man I killed is cooler than seeing it? Because it's like, you know it's going to happen.
I think that scene is acted really well by Evangeline Lilly. I really like how she like completely breaks down in tears. And it's like, we've had this kind of hard exterior for Kate, completely broken away. I do really like that. I think it's maybe, I always just assumed she was lying. that she never loved him, and she's only kept it because she killed the guy, and she's, it's like a reminder of what she did,
Right, so you didn't find that very compelling because you thought she was lying.
I thought she was
lying. I always
lying.
was just like, she's telling the truth.
But then to find out she actually was telling the truth.
I see, okay, yeah. So it's almost the same thing that we both
But
find...
we've just interpreted it differently.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so.
I think that's what it is.
Because I always just thought she was telling the truth. So it's the same thing that she killed the man she loved, but we just experienced the emotions in different episodes.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
That's quite fun.
There you go then.
Go on then, what do you have as 19?
But I like the flashbacks with Tom. I think they're fun. At number 19, I have The Greater Good.
Whoa! What?
Well,
You have The Greater Good that low down?
I know, but we were talking about how the on-island plotline is kind of meh.
What about Assam?
The reason because of Assam, that's why it's at the top of these three. So these three...
That is crazy.
So I knew in my head I had Hearts and Minds, Confidence Man, and Homecoming as the worst three. Then I knew I wanted Outlaws because it was the other Sawyer episode. Then I had, whatever the case may be, Born to Run and Greater Good as the next three. And I was like, really trying to figure out which I liked. Because for me, all the flashback plot lines are good. All the on-island plot lines are low-key bad. And then I was going off the side plots. So in Greater Good, Charlie and Hurley looking after the baby, hate that plot line, really annoying.
But Sawyer talking to the baby is nice.
Sawyer talking to the baby is nice, and Kate drugging
Son
Jack
take the
is
baby.
funny.
Come on. You put Son Take the Baby at number 19?
Look,
Kate drugging Jack is hilarious.
just because we're funny doesn't mean the episode is good.
Kate drugging Jack is so funny.
Kate drugging Jack is hilarious.
Sawyer reading to the baby is cute.
So that's why it's at the top of this tier for me.
I can't believe you would put Assam and his big sad eyes that low down.
I know. I love Assam.
What about the bit where Saeed takes the cigarette and like waves it above the bar?
Great.
That's really cool. When they're praying and there's like the camera refocuses and you see his face.
Yes. No, it is great.
When he says change my flight to tomorrow and that's the flight. I can't believe you.
I love Assam. I love Assam's story, and I think it's so tragic and so harrowing. And I really remember that from this episode. But to have that in the same episode as the Boonerall and Shannon shooting John, it's just like, ugh. Do you know what I mean?
Fun.
It's not
This
fun.
is like the one episode where I'm on board with Shannon. Because I'm like, yeah, you go, girl, kill that old man.
I mean, yes, but I just...
What about I didn't know Boone very well?
Yeah, that is funny. That is funny. And I like the Boonerall scene. But, like, yeah, John taking Saeed to see the plane, it's all just a bit slow, and it's, like, not very exciting.
You find out that John is the one who knocked out Saeed in that episode.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, I don't like it, because like, John pisses me off, but that's a crazy reveal.
I just think, I don't think it's a bad episode. Look, I've said this before. I just think there are so many episodes in this series that are really good that for me, The Greater Good sits at number 19 on the list.
I can't believe that. Fine.
It's not as bad as Do No Harm, I don't think.
It's what do you mean? What, the episode you think
The gulf between where it should be and where it is.
Disagree. You wait till you see where Great Good is on my list.
Oh my god, if it's in the top 10, I'm gonna scream. The Greater Good. Just Shannon fucking around on the island for like 5 minutes. There's like barely any on-island plotline. And a Hurley singing I Feel Good. Don't piss me off.
I'm just saying.
Oh my gosh. You're not gonna be happy about what I've got next.
Okay, should we say it together?
This feels rogue even to me.
This one feels wrong to me too, so I really hope it's the same episode.
If it's the same episode, that would be hilarious.
Should we say it together?
Number 18 on the list. 3, 2, 1. Exodus Part 2! We have not conferred at all. We had no idea.
You know know what's crazy as well is I swapped Exodus Part 2 with a different one this morning.
Did you?
I originally had it at a different point on the list and I swapped it to number 18.
It feels wrong. It feels
crazy,
wrong
but it's
for Exodus
a bad
Part 2.
episode. It's like all the exciting stuff in Exodus happens in 1 and 3.
Yeah.
I was like, 1 has all the stuff leading up to the raft is so great, and then in 3, all the exciting stuff about blowing open the hatch. Like 2, kind of all that happens in 2 is Arts blows up.
Yes. Yeah, so this is how I've described the plot lines in Exodus Part 2 in my notes. I wrote little notes about each of the plot lines in each episode so that we wouldn't get confused about what B plots were in what. Mm-hmm. I've written A plot, Kate/Hurley/Jack/John/Arts Dynamite. Mm-hmm. I've basically written one word to describe each plot line in each sentence. Apart from the B plot, which I've written Rousseau take the baby.
Rousseau take the baby.
C plot, Walt and Sawyer on the raft. Like, you know, when he goes, the only letter I ever wrote to the man I'm going to kill.
Oh, yeah.
Why are you going to kill him?
Why are you going to kill him?
And then the flashbacks. So the flashbacks we have are airport ones, of course. Michael, Jin, and Charlie. And then we have Claire's one. So I really like Claire's flashback because it's really exciting. It's not an airport one, which is really surprising. And it's super surprising that she met Rousseau and scratched her in the jungle. Like, what the fuck? We need more info on that stat. I really like Charlie's one, of course. Your motivation is you just slept with this guy and you're a heroin addict.
Yeah.
Jin's one is pretty cool. Michael's one, don't like. Dislike because he says raising Walt was never part of the plan, and I'm like, lies.
That's literally like rewind.
Yeah, do you not remember your entire episode? So in terms of, I was looking at like all of the scenes we get across all finales, and I was like, these are the weakest flashbacks on the whole, I think.
No, I definitely agree.
And I do think it's the weakest on-island plotline on the whole as well. Because, as you say, kind of the only big dramatic thing that happens is Arts blows up. Obviously, Rousseau takes Aaron. That's quite dramatic.
I mean, that's quite big. But then it's like also you get like the name reveal and it's like Aaron.
Yeah.
You get like the underwhelming
Shit
name reveal.
payoff.
It's just none of it's particularly...
And there's nothing exciting happening on the raft either. Like, the rudder breaks. That's the big moment.
The raft flashback, the raft scene is basically just them being like, and they're all right, by the way.
Yeah,
things
are happening on the raft. Sawyer's being a prick. Michael finds out he has a gun. You should put that back on before you burn.
I mean,
that is good.
But yeah, it's just kind of it's like filler in between 1 and 3, and 1 and 3 are the great ones.
Yes, exactly. So it's the 3 parts of the finale are actually spread out really far amongst my list.
Mine are less far apart.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I wrote it and I was like, it feels wrong to put it that low down, but also wrong. It's like that's where it needs to go.
Exactly. I'm glad we agree. Yeah.
This is the first moment of solidarity we've had since Arts and Minds.
It feels wrong, but it is right.
Yeah. Absolutely, I agree. Okay. 17. Should we see if we can go for a double?
Okay, let's try, but I don't think it's going to be the same.
I'm not sure. I feel like you're either going to be like, yeah, fine to this, or you're going to be like, really strongly disagree. But I think
you might feel the same way about what I've written.
I think this episode is better than you think it is, but you've not said it yet, so...
Interesting. Shall we just say it?
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
White Rabbit.
Okay. So I'm not happy with you, but I'm not as angry as I am about the greater good.
I didn't think you would be happy with me. Yeah, so I've put White Rabbit at number 17. I think... Again, this one was hard. Because I was just like... The very early episodes are all good because they are the early episodes.
This was my issue. A lot of the early episodes, they ended up being like, actually in the grand scheme of the season, they're not as good as they feel when you're first starting out. A lot of them ended up lower than I expected them to be, because I was like, actually, in the beginning they're really cool, but after a while...
Yes, but I do think there is, some of that is retained, some of that feeling is retained. There's a different tone, I think, to the early episodes, mainly because the writers are sat around going... They're going to run out of water.
Yeah.
Let's make an episode about that.
That's why I love the
rather
White Rabbit.
than, hey, what if there were magical numbers that cursed you and killed everyone? You know, it's a different tone. It's a different show almost.
Very much.
And so that's why I think White Rabbit is kind of, in a way, higher than I would have expected it. Because what actually happens in White Rabbit is not particularly interesting to me. So we get, in the flashbacks, we get the introduction of Christian. Don't piss me off. Like, hate that guy. Don't want to know.
I hate him, but, like, it's great to... the reveal is really good of, like, Jack's past.
I guess, mainly...
Because, like, it's like the crazy ghost he's seeing in the forest.
He's seeing a ghost.
His dad,
Okay.
and his dad's dead. And then he opens the coffin, and the coffin's empty.
Okay. Jack can see ghosts. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yes, but I'm just like...
What about meat and potatoes?
Meat and potatoes is fun.
When Christian is chasing Jack, and then he falls, and then you think it's him that's grabbed him, and it's John?
It's John.
Cool.
Yes, but it's just like... I think... We're waiting for Jack's backstory, and I think it's really clever that they don't give it to us until episode 5, because we assume that we're going to get it right away because he's the main character. So I think it's fun that they delay it, but I just kind of, I'm just like, okay, daddy issues. It's got Pretty Boy, which I do enjoy.
Yeah.
But just why does he steal the... I still don't really understand that.
Because he wants to be in charge. You know this.
Oh,
He
okay.
thinks
Boone is so pathetic.
he thinks he's taking initiative and, like, protecting the water and rationing it, but, like, actually he's not in charge.
He's just being an idiot. Ridiculous. And it's also got the ridiculous Bechdel test passing scene.
That's cute!
No.
What about the lesbians, Ariel? Don't you care about the lesbians?
Of course I care about the lesbians, but they have way better moments than, are you a Gemini?
Yeah, but it's cute. I am. Knew it. And the hat. The hat's so cute.
As a feminist, I must object. I'm 6'4" and a feminist.
No, my feminist literature. Well, I kind of have them off for similar reasons.
Okay, yeah, tell me why you've got
In
them
that
off.
I feel like the early episodes they're really good when you first watch them, and then the more you get into it, the more you're like, they're actually not as exciting. I think the thing about Charlie's backstory is that we know what it's gonna be. Because, like, we know from the pilot that he's a rock star, and we know from pilot part 2 that he's addicted to heroin, and, like, so we kind of know what his episode's gonna be, because we know it's gonna be that he's run out, and, you know, he's getting withdrawals, and we're gonna see him, you know, don't go and show stuff. I mean, the Catholic reveal, weird.
That's kind of fun.
It's kind of fun.
I like the Catholic guilt as part of his character.
Kind of insane.
Every show needs a good character with Catholic guilt.
I mean, absolutely, and he does a good job at fulfilling that role, but I just think it's a bit like, and it's got, like, badly scripted sibling scenes.
Yes.
You know?
True.
I think the on-island thing is really cool.
The cave-in.
The cave collapse and Jack nearly dying.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy because it's also like Jack could just die.
Jack could just die, and also, like, he's been pushing this narrative of the caves, they're the safe place to be, they're the best place to live, and then boom.
Yeah.
It collapses and nearly kills him.
I really like that scene between Jack and Charlie in the cave.
Me too.
Where they're sat with the torch on, and he's like, how long has it been since your last drugs? And Charlie's like, what? Drugs? I would never do drugs.
Yeah.
And, like,
and then he dislocates his shoulder as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Charlie has to pop it back in.
And then, like, you know, the moth gets them out. But it's like the metaphor is kind of obvious.
The heavy-handed metaphor I don't enjoy.
And, like, that one scene where John is just, like, hitting the ball with a stick. I mean, what's that all about?
Yeah, I don't really know.
It's like, I think it's just kind of fine. And I think, like, for the early character, like, we talked about it, actually, when we recorded them off, is that, like, the problem with it is that the flashbacks aren't that interesting, but the reason why we get it so early on is because the heroin addiction is an immediate problem.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, in the grand scheme of things, learning that about Charlie's past is not new or exciting information,
No.
really, is it?
Yeah.
And watching him recover, it's kind of like, it's inevitable in the show, you know? So it's kind of not doing anything crazy new.
Yeah, I do tend to agree. I think I do enjoy the flashbacks in The Moth. It's weird, because when you're talking about them, I'm like, I agree with everything you're saying. I think it's just more of an emotional response, because it's like, certainly at the first half of the season, I think I really like Charlie as a character.
Yeah,
and
and
so
I
I
love
just
Charlie.
enjoy watching his story. But would you agree that, like, at this point, Charlie's character, I'm like, yay, he's great, I'm on board.
Yeah.
It's later on that you go, no, hang on a minute, Charlie.
Later on, when you get to something like Homecoming,
Yeah.
you're like,
Charlie,
pause.
Charlie, hang on. What do you mean?
Charlie, back up a bit.
Wait, slow down.
Weirdly enough, actually, when you consider that in the context of the Catholic guilt, maybe makes a little bit more sense.
What, like the kind of protecting thing?
Yeah, because Catholics are very gendered, aren't they?
True. Yeah, I didn't think about that. But then he's also a rock star.
So, like,
do you know what I mean? He's wearing makeup and nail varnish on stage. He's not exactly fitting Catholic gender roles.
Yeah.
So,
not exactly
Charlie,
the
get
Pope.
your head in the game. So, I've actually got the Moth next at number
Okay.
16. Again, similar reasons. It's like, I really like the cave-in and that kind of plot line, and I like Charlie kind of stepping up and getting that more in the spotlight moment, no pun intended. And I quite like the flashbacks, but also the thing that pitched it above something like White Rabbit for me was Beth, our fave.
Beth.
The pointing lady! I was like, oh, it's her episode, come on.
That's
I've got to
a really good
put her a
point.
bit higher.
I did forget about Pointing Lady, but I was going to say that, like, Saeed getting conked out is kind of a weird...
But that whole plotline's quite exciting, isn't it?
It is quite cool.
And every step on that journey, I was like, oh, Saeed. Do you know what I mean? He entrusts Boone and Kate to set the signal triangulation thingies and the rockets, and it ends up being Shannon and Sawyer.
And it's like, if you'd asked Saeed, who would you least like to do this with?
Yeah.
I feel like at this point in time, those
At
have been
this
his
point
answers.
in time, it would definitely be Shannon, Saeed, and Sawyer, because Shannon's done fuck all at this point.
Yeah.
This
All
is
she's done
episode
like Land
7.
and Sun. Like, yeah, absolutely, it is like the worst people to be doing it with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Saeed. And then it works, and then John
And
knocks
I
him
know,
out.
that's the weird part. Both of them actually do it, and then he gets knocked out. But I agree with everything you said. Like, I do think the Moth, well, it's below the midway point. How many episodes are there? 25?
25.
What's half of 25?
13. No, 12.5. What? 12.5.
Okay, so 12, 13 is the midpoint, really. So yeah, it's below the midpoint. It's in the worst half, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's still a good episode. I still really like the Moth.
I love the Moth. No,
And
no,
I
no,
really
no,
enjoyed
no.
our episode that we recorded for
Yeah,
the
that
Moth,
was when we were
dressed
up,
up.
wasn't it?
So
I mean, I
had a
think,
lot of
like,
fun.
the thing is, by this point, we've reached a point where all the episodes above, like, Exodus Part 2, I was like, all these are really great. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So at this point onwards, I really like all of the episodes we're talking about.
Me too, kinda, yeah.
It's
They
just
have
like-
flaws,
They have flaws,
but I do like them in general.
all of them I generally, as a rule,
Yeah.
really like.
As a blanket rule, they're good.
I mean, as a blanket rule, I like all of Lost. Apart
Yeah.
from Hearts and Minds.
Yeah.
So I had at 15...
Oh, 16, sorry, we're on.
It's because I've got an arrow pointing between... I swapped these ones round
Ah, okay,
this
interesting.
morning.
Okay.
So at 16, I have Tabula Rasa.
Okay, interesting.
Similar reasoning from before. The early episodes kind of aren't that great when you get later on.
Mm-hmm.
It's my favourite of the 3K episodes.
Agree.
By far. I really like... you know,
By how many points on your list?
Well, whatever the case may be, is at 19, so...
3.
By 3.
By 3.
By 3/5. But it is, I would say, like, it's significantly better than the other two.
Okay.
You know? I would say I really like The Farmer with One Hell of a Mortgage. You know, I like seeing the Marshal. We talked about that one shot where, like, it's like the, like, grass is all around. It looks like she's alone, and then the gun comes into shot and the Marshal's behind her. That's cool. I like that. I like the Marshal kind of dying. It's very cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool. And, like, the whole thing of Sawyer trying to kill him and, like, Jack having to do it, it's all great. And I think it's really interesting, like, that psychologically for all the characters is really cool.
Absolutely.
Kate saying her goodbyes. And saying,
really
like,
cool,
I
sorry
won.
to interrupt you, but really cool that we get that kind of psychological plot line in episode 3.
That early on, yeah. No, absolutely. I think just the reason why it came lower down for me is I was just kind of like, I'm not crazy about. Even like watching it for the first time, you have like pilot part 1, huge hitter. Pilot part 2, huge hitter. Tabula rasa, fine. Walkabout, huge hitter. You know?
Agree.
When you first watch it.
Completely.
So out of that first sort of disc, Tabula rasa is definitely the worst one. So I think when it came to ranking it, I was just like, yeah, but I'm not crazy about that episode, you know? And as we've said, the Kate flashbacks tend to be kind of underwhelming, weirdly, even though she's the one with the really exciting life.
Yeah.
So it just, like, it's just okay to me, but I still really like it, you know?
Yeah. I battled with a very similar thing mainly because of my love for the Marshal.
Yeah.
So I love the Marshal as a character, and obviously this is kind of the only episode he's in. So the B plot of pilot part 2 is all about the Marshal and Jack trying to save the Marshal, but he's like passed out for the whole thing, basically.
Oh, he says, where is she?
He says, where is she? Which is probably his best moment, right?
Yeah.
So fucking cool.
And he's in Exodus.
This is the thing. I was gonna say, Tabula Rasa is kind of the only episode he's in, but I actually think he's better in the other episodes where he's only in it a tiny bit, i.e. Pilot Part 2 and Exodus Part 1.
And 3, he's in part 3, he's in the montage at the end.
Oh yes, he's in the montage.
He locks her into the thing.
How could I forget? So I actually have Tabula Rasa at number 15.
Oh, well, there you go.
So that's why I was like, let me just talk about it now, because I love the Marshal, and I do think his plotline in this episode is really great, and I love the scene that you were talking about where Kate goes up to him in the tent and is like, you know, I did get away and stuff, and like, what were you gonna ask that he gets his reward?
And because we talked about how amazing that is, that like she could be gloating over him and going, I won, but like it's very quiet and gentle, and as we see, the Marshal is very much not that to her when put in the opposite situation.
Completely, and that's obviously really revealing about both their characters. And as I say, it's exciting when you're first watching it, because this is our first character-driven episode, you know?
Yeah.
So that's really interesting.
This is what sets up the whole flashback system.
Yeah, so that's great. But as you say, kind of looking at it in isolation / not on the first watch / whatever, it's lower down the list. And also, when I was going through my notes, I was trying to ascertain what the other plot lines in this episode were, and I kind of came up with a bit of a question mark, because I think in the early episodes, they don't quite have that this plotline structure. Everyone's interacting with each other and kind of just having like one scene. So things that happen in that episode, Walter's looking for Vincent, John makes the dog whistle and ends up finding Vincent and giving him to Michael to give to Walt. So that's like a plot line, I guess. And you also have the great scene between John and Charlie where he goes, I was in a band. And John's just sat there like, don't say anything. And then it's in The Moth when we find out he's a Drive Shaft fan.
Yeah, well, I've got the big montages in Tabula Rasa.
Yes, so I was debating putting Tabula Rasa maybe below The Moth, below White Rabbit, that kind of area. But then I went, oh no, it's got that amazing montage in it. So that really bumped it up for me. Because love that montage. One of the best scenes of the series, really.
Everything. And can I just say
it is everything
about that montage?
Please.
I always have things to say about that montage. I have a Lost playlist on Spotify, which is like 2 hours. My Playlost, it's called.
Is it genuinely called Playlost?
My Playlost. It's like 2 hours of just like sad songs about like daddy issues and stuff. It's a great playlist. But it's also got some of the songs from the show in. And also some random songs that just kind of give me Lost energy. Like, it's got Blue Monday in for like no reason.
Nice.
It just kind of has Lost vibes to me.
There are some good edits to Blue Monday.
I think this is it. I saw like 3 or 4 really good edits to Blue Monday in a row, and then I just started associating it with Lost. Anyway, I tracked down that song from the montage and I put it in my playlist. It's called Wash Away _reprise. So it's obviously the second time it's on the album or whatever, because I listened to the first one. I was like, this isn't right. And then I clicked on reprise and I was like, oh, this is it. And genuinely, I listened to it because I listen to my playlist a lot on train journeys for some reason. Then, you know, when you want to like kind of stare out the window dramatically on a train and like listen to sad music. So I listen to my Lost playlist a lot. And whenever I get to Wash Away, it's always like, wow. It just always feels so good. The other day I got off the train and I was walking, you know, like along the bridge over the river, and it was playing, and I just like stopped and looked out over the river.
Aww.
And I was listening to the song, and it just always feels so nice. It just always feels like everything's gonna be all right, you know?
Yeah.
It's a really nice song.
Yeah.
And I'm really kind of happy that Lost kind of brought it to my attention. Because also I always think of that montage and like Lost and
Absolutely.
how much I love it when I hear the song, but also just genuinely the song is really lovely and I really like it. And so like that, it's kind of since recording this, because it was when we were recording that I Googled what the song was called, and that was when I put it in the playlist. So like that's, yeah.
There you go. That's
a
something
thing
that
for
the
me.
podcast has brought to you as well.
Yeah.
No, it's a very cathartic song, isn't it? I feel like it makes you kind of
Yeah.
want to cry, and I think
Definitely. But in a good way.
in a good way. And I think this montage also does the same thing, because it's like, it's the apple bit for me. It's the way that
It's the
Saeed is putting his beef with Sawyer to the side, and also the fact that the music is like coming from Hurley's Walkman canonically.
Yeah,
Love.
it's so fun, and the fact that it's like the Desert Island Disc thing as a concept,
Yeah.
it's just that's
Really
like
great.
not even explicitly said. It's just kind of like there.
It's just put there for you to connect the dots, you know.
yeah.
What else happens in that montage? Doesn't matter. The
No,
apple,
the
apple thing's
bit's
the best part.
bit. I mean, you've got like Michael gives Vincent the
Oh,
water.
yes. Yeah.
There's the great shot I really like where Charlie's drawing on his fingers, and then it pans over and Claire's
Claire's-
sat on the beach with her belly, and
Yeah.
I'm like, the framing of that's really cool.
Mm.
There's like a Sun is asleep and Jin like pulls the blanket over her, and that's like the first time he's nice to her.
Yeah. I wonder if it's worth flagging right now, now that we're at the end of season 1, the tape on Charlie's fingers. So I never really understood why he was doing it, other than it's just a fashion choice.
Cool.
And I guess it seems to me to be kind of an emo thing, like a part of an emo kind of aesthetic.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's an established thing.
I mean, not as far as I'm aware.
And he changes it from fate to late.
Yes. I have no idea. I really don't know.
I don't really understand the significance. I understand the significance why
When
he
takes
has
them
them
off, yeah.
is because that's how they find him when he's, hung from the tree, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he kind of doesn't have them on after that, I don't think.
No, because I think they probably got
Yeah,
fucked up
and he
in
was
the
just
rain and
like,
stuff. I mean, you wouldn't want to put them back on, would you?
no, but he could do new ones, I guess. Oh, unless he probably doesn't have the tape with him, or I don't know. No, I think he does, because he changes it.
Yeah.
I don't think he puts them back on, essentially. So I'm like, okay, that's a cool plot device to go really early on. He's doing this thing. Also, people are doing weird things early on, like John with the orange and stuff.
Yeah.
People are being weird. And that's cool, because you're watching it like, what's his deal? Weird. But then it's never really followed through on, apart from it's used in All the Best Cowboys, which I do like.
Yeah. I would have
But it's a bit
to
unsatisfying
see
for
it,
me.
I would have liked to see it in like a flashback or something.
Yes.
Like if in The Moth we'd had a flashback where they were like backstage for a show and like Liam and Charlie were both drawing on each other's fingers
Liam's
or
going, what are you
something.
doing that for? You
Yeah.
bellend. Yeah.
Or he was
Stupid.
like, oh, let me do it because you're, you can't write with your left hand. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like that could have been nice to have it.
Or do you know what would have been amazing? All the drive shaft fans have it, and it's like his
Yes.
thing,
Oh
and all
my
the fans are
God.
like, woo! Yeah.
I've decided that's what it is now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Kind of like, Blind Channel?
Yeah.
How they have the red middle finger as like a thing?
Yeah. Well, there's all kinds of stuff like that with like bands that people like copy
Yeah.
these. I'm trying to think of other examples, but my mind's gone blank.
Mm.
But like, yeah,
That would be amazing.
that would be really. I've decided that's
Okay, that's canon now.
that's canon. John recognized it. He was like, oh my god.
John was there. John's there in the back of the
Maybe
concert
they have a
with it on.
song called like Fate or something.
Maybe.
And it's like,
It's the B-side for you all, everybody. You know the movie Signs?
mm-hmm.
I love
Signs.
that.
It's
I
such a
love
good
that movie. But I love the way that the little girl is always leaving the glasses of water around. And then that's how they find out that the aliens can be killed by water.
Yeah, and then
Spoilers, sorry.
and they've just got loads of them.
Yeah, and that's how they're able to defeat them. And I love that kind of like, of course it's like a creepy child's behaviour.
Yeah.
And you kind of get the idea, oh, did she know or something? But even if she didn't, it's just a really cool storytelling device. So if that's all it is,
It's that kind of thing. But
fine.
It's sort of, the way it's done makes me feel like I should know what it means.
Yes, it feels like there should be more significance to it, especially that he changes it from fate to late.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Okay. Yeah, no, I still don't get it.
Still don't really get it, people.
Anyway,
Write in if you have some theories about the Fates Lates tape fingers general thing.
I have, wait, where did we get to? 15.
Yes, so 15's where I have tabula rasa.
Yes, so I originally had tabula rasa at 15. I swapped it down to 16 in place of, and you might hate me for this, and I kind of hate me for this, but everything else is so good that I couldn't put it any higher. Exodus Part 1.
Whoa! Okay! So you think Part 3 is the best part?
I do, because I think the blowing of the hatch and the Walt getting taken and I love the raft setting off. I said it was my favourite moment in the entire season.
Yeah.
But still.
And you've put it below the halfway point.
Yes, I know. I hate it.
Oh my gosh.
I hate that I've done it, but
That's
I just
low-key crazy.
couldn't put it any higher. So many, I kept looking at the list and going, but no, those are all so good.
Wow, okay.
I love Exodus Part 1. I love so much about it. I love the raft launching. I love the scene between Sawyer and Jack where he finds out that his dad was proud of him. And I love, so much about them, setting off. But the flashbacks are all really great.
Yeah.
Seeing Kate in the airport and
man.
The Sun and Jin scene that then you see again in Part 2, but it's subtitled this time.
Yeah.
It's great. It is great. But I just think 3 is better. Of the 3. Because I think do you not think if anything, just for that last shot of the hatch?
The thing is, that's actually what changed it for me, because I was like, that last shot, incredible. And the really long raft scene, we talked about it when we talked about it on the podcast.
Disconcertingly long.
Really, really fantastic. But those kind of are the only fantastic moments in that episode.
What about the Hurley flashback?
Okay, apart from the flashbacks. But the monster reveal and John being taken by the monster, not exactly what I wanted. And the other stuff with Charlie getting the gash on his forehead and it kind of being a bit weird.
That's weird, but what about the lovely scene between Saeed and Danielle?
No, that is lovely.
Baby back?
I'm not saying...
Saeed, take the baby.
Saeed, take the baby. Exodus Part 3 is a fantastic episode. And it's higher than, we haven't got to it yet on my list. But I think Part 1 is better. I do think Part 1 is better. We'll get there.
I think what's great about Exodus is that, Part 1 could have been the end of the season.
Yeah.
But then you have 2 and 3 and it's but it keeps going.
Yeah, but Part 1
and then the real ending is just so...
The real ending is amazing, but Part 1 just has so much. It has the Black Rock reveal. It has the Russo law drop.
But it's also got Arts being pissy with everyone.
Yeah, it's got Arts being pissy with everyone, but it's got the raft setting off. It's got the Charlie making the bottle with all the names in it. What else has it got? So the flashbacks, I've got them written down, as I say. I'll go to where Part 1 is on my list. So we start with the Walt one.
Oh, yes, in the hotel.
Mm-hmm. And then we've also got Kate in the Marshall. We've got Jack and Ana Lucia.
Oh,
gorgeous scene. Love.
I did forget about Ana Lucia.
We have Sawyer being arrested.
Who cares?
Yeah, no one really cares about that one. We have the Shannon and Boone one. Who cares?
Who gives a fuck?
Where she tries to claim that Saeed's a terrorist.
Shannon tries to get Saeed arrested.
Yeah, that one's weird. And then we have the Sun one.
I love it. I really love it. This was genuine. This is when it became really painful for me to do these rankings, because I was just everything above this is everything above this is low-key a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, you see, you were shitting on me before.
But everything above this I would just consider such an amazing episode that it was so above this is when it became really difficult for me.
I'm kind of getting to that point too.
I know I said my top 10 is kind of locked in as a top 10, but organising what goes where pretty much from the moth up was so hard.
Yeah. Yeah, this was fucking brutal, guys. Just to let you know.
It's genuinely, you don't think it's going to be that difficult, and you sit down to do it, and it's oh my god.
But wait this, but wait that, but wait, and it's it's trying to pick a favourite child, is it Aaron or Walt? How do we decide? Yeah, no, it's pretty intense. So, I'm going to flag something that I noticed from my notes on Tabula Rasa, which will also segue me nicely, tip of the tongue, teeth, and the lips, into number 14 on my list.
Go on.
In Tabula Rasa, it is implied that Walt can control the weather.
Yes.
There's a scene where it's pissing it down with rain and they're hiding underneath the
when
bit
it
of the plane.
stops raining, I'll go
find your dog. It immediately stops raining. Was that a coincidence, or do we think that Walt can control the weather?
I think Walt can control the weather because I think there's little hints early on of Walt's like psychic powers, and I think that's one that you look back on and go, "Oh, he did that."
Okay, I mean, I'm happy to say Walt can control the weather. It's interesting because we've been talking about understanding Walt's psychic powers as like animals, kind of
people connection, emotions.
Understanding his emotions, connecting to that on a mental level. But could you not say
it's a connection to animals? Because it's when the rain stops, I'll go find Vincent, and Vincent is what he wants to get back, and so he stops the rain because he wants Vincent.
In a way, yes.
It's like the rain stops because Vincent and Walt are like drawn together.
Walt and Vincent both want the rain to stop, and so the rain stops. Yes, but it's a stretch, isn't it? It's a stretch, but I mean, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that he could control the weather, but it's something slightly different, isn't it? It's different to the bird hitting the window.
It's very different, yeah.
So that's just interesting. I'm just flagging it as something that's interesting.
It is interesting.
And I don't necessarily think there's an answer directly in the show. I don't think they ever confirm or deny that Walt did that. Because we've seen as well how sporadic the rain can be on this show. It will just start and it will just stop.
They teach you how to predict the weather at a box company.
Exactly. So it could have been a coincidence. But yeah, just something to think about, guys. Do you think Walt can control the weather? Write in.
Something to think about. I'm going to guess what your number 14 is then. Is it by any chance special?
It is indeed special. Again, this was hard for me. This was hard.
I'm shocked at that.
I feel
because you love Michael so much.
I do love Michael.
I'm really shocked that special isn't higher on yours.
This is the thing. Everything above this is so good. It's hard. It's hard. I think it's just because there are a lot of variables in special. You know, I love the Michael and Walt flashbacks, but I also really hate them because I hate Susan. And it's so painful.
Brian.
You have to see Susan and Brian, and it's so painful to watch.
There's that shaky camera scene you hate so much.
Exactly.
That one knocked it down.
And also, like, the on-island stuff, it's really character-driven, and I like the characters, and I like their dynamic, and I like how it changes across this episode, so I'm not mad about it, but it's not that plot forwarding. It's not that exciting.
There is a polar bear that attacks a small child, but we're like, it's not that exciting.
Not that exciting in the realm of this show, people. And it's like, yeah, they have the John beef and stuff, and it's like, okay. And then like the B plot is kind of Charlie reading Claire's diary.
I mean, that's weird. There's the bit where Boone takes down Michael. That's really funny.
That is funny. There and Charlie and punches Sawyer as well. That's funny. Yeah. And it's like, okay, so there are all good elements.
I think, but because it's a very character-y episode, there's some very fun bits, but yeah, there's not much meat to the plot really.
Exactly, and I think that's what put it low down for me. But it felt hard to do.
Yeah,
it felt hard to do.
I'm okay with that. I'm shocked though, because where I put special, I was like, Ariel's gonna have it higher. But you've got it lower than I do. And
I feel so bad. I'm sorry, Michael. I love you, Michael.
I thought the same about my number 14 also.
Okay.
But just before I tell you what my number 14 is, I want to flag, I think it's exciting that I swapped 15 and 16 around because they're the numbers.
Oh, very nice, very nice, very nice.
And I just think that's fun.
Yeah, what did I have as 15 and 16? I had The Moth and Tabula Rasa.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because I had Tabula Rasa and Exodus Part 1, and I originally had them, and then I swapped them. So my 14, and you're gonna hate me, in translation.
I am so shocked.
I just think House of the Rising Sun's better.
I am so shocked.
What it truly came down to is I was like, which of those two do I find better? And I do think
I swear we said when we recorded in translation that in translation was better than House of the Rising Sun.
Well, maybe I did say that, but on reflection I disagree.
Oh my god. You're like a politician. You non-stop lying, non-stop revising your statements. This is insane. In translation?
Yeah.
The gulf between where you've put that and where I've put it.
Well, I'll remind you, we haven't had The Greater Good or Do No Harm.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness me. Well, you better fucking explain yourself.
The thing is I can't, I will remind you again, this is so difficult, because at this point they're all so amazing. I was like, this episode is great. I'm not denying that it's not great. It's amazing. It's a brilliant episode. But I just think it's more exciting seeing Sun's life and seeing them when they were happy, and then that Sun can speak English and that she could have run away and she didn't. That gets me more than seeing it from Jin's perspective.
I actually can't believe what you're saying right now. I completely think the opposite.
Really?
I mean, okay, when you first see House of the Rising Sun, the fact that they come in that order is perfect, because House of the Rising Sun, you go, oh my god, I can't believe that this is Sun's life. I can't believe this is what she's experienced. She was gonna run away. Now she's stuck on an island with him. It's awful. Everything. But when you then get Jin's perspective, it completely flips it. And that is so mind-blowing. The way that just the little details, like the crying after the washing of the hands and stuff, just including that 1 second of footage is able to completely change your perspective on these characters, I find so compelling.
No, I do think so, and I completely agree with you. I think that crying moment is amazing, and it is like really, really compelling and really incredible. But I just, yeah, I think it's because it's like what we talked about, how the moment where I went, oh, Jin's all right, was when he builds the boat with Michael. So, like, to me, at this point in time, he's still, like, a villain, even though we're in translation, you know?
I do see, we discussed this as well. I think we have different interpretations of Jin, because for me, it was in translation that was the turning point for me.
Yeah, and for me, it was later on.
Yeah.
So I think because of that, because for me, we've not hit real turning point in Jin's character arc yet, that just, like, bumps it down a little bit. Because what I'm seeing...
A little bit! So many places.
What I'm seeing in Ariel's gonna have it like number 1 or something. What I'm seeing in translation is that he feels bad, but he's not doing anything to make, to fix it yet. And it's when he starts trying to change himself, that's when to me he changes.
Well, yes, but you can't expect him to do it right away. He only just found out she spoke English in the last 5 minutes of the episode.
Of course not. And I completely, when you look at the trajectory of the story from Jin's perspective, I completely understand why he behaves the way he does. But I just, for me, my opinion of him didn't quite change until whatever episode it is where they start building the boat. Is that special? No. They start building the first boat in special.
Yeah, so when he goes boats...
That's after it gets
That's the end of In Translation. That's the final scene of In Translation.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you said it was one of your favourite moments, so...
It is one of my favourite
Me when
moments.
I lie. But it's after that, so it will be episodes 18, 19, 20, that kind of area when he's building the boat.
This is my, That's all. I love the episode. I think it's a fabulous episode. Also, I do think the title is a little bit goofy.
The title is goofy.
Which just kind of...
And as we say, it took me an embarrassingly long time to figure out what it meant. To
figure out that it's lost in translation, which I think is quite embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. But I can't believe you put it below halfway.
Yeah.
That's mind-boggling to me.
I'm sorry. I knew you'd be mad at me for
I
that.
low-key expected... I didn't expect Do No Harm to be so low on your list, but I knew it was going to be low. But I really didn't expect In Translation to be this low.
I knew you were going to be upset with me for that one.
I'm fuming. I'm actually raging.
But I can't
believe... we've not even had the great good from you yet. This is... Your rankings, man. Okay, well, we're at the halfway point now.
We're reaching the halfway. I think...
Kind of.
Should we say this one together?
It's not going to be the same.
It might be. Well, unless it might be one that I've already...
Okay, no, you haven't said it.
Neither of us have said this episode yet.
Yeah, neither of us have said this one, so...
So it might be the same.
It might be the same, but I doubt it.
This
but okay,
one felt really rogue to put it here, but also it feels so... when I first wrote it, I was like, that doesn't feel right. And then when I read the list, I was like, no, that's where it needs to go. So,
I'm quite confident about this one being where it is.
Shall we see? Shall we see?
Unlucky 13, let's have a go. 3, 2, 1, Exodus Part 3.
Ooh.
Walkabout! Yeah. Walkabout!
Yeah.
Walkabout!
Yeah.
Oh my fucking... You're out of your goddamn mind!
You know I don't like John!
You can't not like him from Walkabout! Walkabout is one of the best episodes of Lost ever. It's so good.
No.
It's so fucking mind-blowing. The way that you don't get the wheelchair reveal until the very final flashback.
The thing is, the wheelchair reveal is cool, but like the rest of it is like nothing.
No, the rest of it's not nothing. Oh my god!
It
Oh my
is.
god, this man who has been so mysterious and so forthright, and he's got these knives, and he's like, you find out that he's got such a horrible, depressing life in the real world.
Yeah.
And it's when he's on the island that he finds, you know, his true purpose, and it's. Oh my god!
Yeah, and it's sad. And I, like, when I first watched it, I was like, this is crazy. But kind of the more it goes on, the more I'm just like, it's the more I get disillusioned with John, the more I'm just like, I don't care about him.
Oh my god, I literally can't believe you're saying this right now. How can you, I know that John goes downhill, but in Walkabout especially, it's his best moment. It's the best point for his character. And in the early episodes, it's great. And oh my god, his backstory. And oh my god, he's done basically fuck all until this point. He's just sat around eating oranges and being mysterious. And now we're like,
yeah, and
holy
he throws that
fuck.
knife at Sawyer, and
Yeah.
it's a cool episode. It's a cool
And
episode.
he sees the fucking monster. He makes eye contact with the monster.
That's a goofy ass camera shot that's all bouncy.
Don't you do this
It's
at me.
dumb.
Oh my god.
I just don't. I'm sorry. I just feel like it's where it needs to be.
The way you've had In Translation and then Walkabout at fucking, 14 and 13?
Mm-hmm.
We're about to get into a physical fight.
The thing is, though, I'm looking at all the ones above it on my list, and I'm like, yeah, but they are better. It's good, it's just there are other ones that are better.
Wow. Wow. I completely disagree. That's so interesting. I really didn't know you felt that way, especially about Walkabout and In Translation.
I just... Yeah, but it's like I said, everything above this is like a 5 out of 5. They're all amazing episodes.
Well, so what's your justification then? Just that you don't like John as a character?
I just, like, the moment when he walks is really exciting. And like, he is really exciting at this point in time, but it's just like, yeah, just looking at it from the wider perspective of the show, I'm just like, a lot of what John does. This is the moment where John decides it's his destiny to be on the island, you know? That leads him to do all these fucked up things later on.
Oh, but you can't say that. We're looking at the episodes in isolation. Come on, Velvet.
I know, but I have no justification for it other than that I think the 12 I put above this are better.
Okay. Alrighty then.
Tell me about Exodus.
So I've put Exodus Part 3 at number 13, which I'm confident about. As I've said, like, I love the hatch opening, and I love the scene where, like, Walt gets kidnapped. That whole really long scene is really great. But yeah, I think the episode kind of begins in a kind of slow way. I'm not massively enamoured by the Saeed and Charlie scenes. I like the Rousseau one. But yeah, that is all kind of like... Yeah, I think, again, it's a great episode, but the ones above it are better. And yeah, I like the montage and Hurley's flashback and John's flashback. I think they're all really great. But yeah, for me, I think that's where Exodus Part 3 goes. I couldn't put it any higher in good conscience.
I mean, I'm not mad about that. I do have Exodus Part 3 higher. Number 12, I have White Rabbit.
Interesting. I have Do No Harm
Okay.
at number 12.
I forgot we hadn't gotten to your, genuinely when you said, I got like a rush of rage for a second there. And I had to just stop myself.
But interesting, we've both got Jack episodes.
That is interesting. So you think Do No Harm is like significantly better than White Rabbit?
Yes.
As a Jack episode?
Well, as an episode.
But, okay, but I hope not as a Jack episode.
No, not the flashbacks.
Good.
This is... Do No Harm is at the bottom of this. So from 12 onwards, these are all the ones that I rated 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I feel like from, like, In Translation up, or maybe from Exodus, like, 16 up, or all, like, 5 out of 5s.
So Do No Harm's at the bottom of this tier because of the flashbacks. The flashbacks let it down massively.
I still cannot believe you rated that episode a 5 out of 5. The wedding flashbacks, the weird piano scene, the swimming pool, the Saeed and Shannon kiss.
Because I love the way that Boone's death is done.
I mean,
And I
yeah,
love
it's
the way that
good.
the delivering of the baby is done. It's so dramatic. I did not expect them to both happen in the same episode. And I think it is one that I would go and watch, you know? Like, if I was thinking, I might put on a random episode. Oh, let's do the one where the baby's born and Boone dies. That's a crazy episode. Let's watch that. I think it's something that I would go back to because you know, I'm not a massive Jack fan, but I love Jack in this episode. I think he's much more compelling in here than he is in White Rabbit. On Island, because he has his, like, doctor era and he's like, boom, I know what to do, but he also doesn't know what to do and he can't do because he's not in the environment that he's used to. And I like how the writers sit down and go, okay, what could be the substitute for this that there would be in a hospital? What could be, you know? And I love Sun and her nurse era.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you're saying. I just, like, I can't get past it being... I can't get past not liking it. But I think White Rabbit is just far more exciting in that sense. I think the idea of something as basic as we've run out of water is a really amazing plotline for an episode, because that could be an issue even at the end of the series, you know? Like, that could still be a problem, and I like that it's like that basic survival thing, but it's like it's a step past we need to make a signal fire, and it's a step towards we're going to live here forever, you know?
I do like that.
Moving into the caves and finding the water. I think the way it sets up the hallucinations in the previous episode to then following through on it, and it's like Jack is supposed to be the, like, knows what to do, John's the magical one. Even at this point we know that. And then it's Jack who's having the hallucinations, seeing his dad, seeing the way his dad talks to him, explains immediately so much about him, even when we don't know very much about him. I think, like, the scene with little Jack, when he's talking about getting beaten up at school, and then Christian's telling that story about doing the surgery on the little boy, it makes me so angry, even now, because it's written so well, and he just doesn't care. I think the scene where they pull back the sheet and Jack sees Christian's dead body, I think that's such a moment of amazing acting from Matthew Fox, where he does a lot of, like, not making eye contact, but I think it works so well in that moment when he physically can't look at the body. I think it's so amazing.
What about him yelling at Chrissy? Why, Chrissy, why? Why do I need my dad's coffin on this?
He's grieving! But that's really fun because he yells and then you see Jin and Sun in the background.
I do like that you see Jin.
And then that's the moment where Sun's gone off.
That is fun. And I agree, I like that scene with... because it's so well written with Christian. And the scene where he finds Christian's body, yes. But, like, the other bits with his mum...
I mean, his mum, Jack's mum, I feel nothing about.
Because they don't give her a character at all. And why? I'm still mad that she's not at the wedding.
Yeah,
it would have been so easy to get her, to put her at the wedding.
No,
and it just seems like Jack doesn't even care if his mum's there or not. It's all about his dad.
Yeah, no, I think it's just like the writers just kind of didn't care about her. But I just think so much about it is so great. I think the moment where he almost grabs Christian's shoulder, and then when John reaches out to grab him and for a second you think it's Christian, is amazing. I think that conversation between the two of them, I think I'm going crazy. Crazy people don't know they're going crazy. They think they're getting saner. Amazing, because that's what's happening to John. Like, so much of that episode is just so great to me, and I think it's just like Jack, he's like the classic hero, but then this episode it's like he's not, you know?
Yeah.
I just think it's amazing.
I'd argue that actually comes in Walkabout, which is another reason why it's higher for me, because that's when Jack goes kind of like, why do I have to be the leader, essentially? And it's, you know how they have to get rid of all the bodies in the plane, and Claire's like, you should do a funeral, and he's like, why, essentially?
Yeah.
And so then it's Claire who does the funeral. Like, that kind of moment from Jack, I think actually happens in the episode before. And then it's episode 5 where we go, why? Here's why.
Yeah. But I think I think the payoff is really good. Like, I think it's a bit similar to, like, with Charlie. You know what's coming with his flashbacks. Like, in a sense, you know what's coming with Jack flashbacks. You know he's a doctor. You know he's got, you know, weird shit going on. Like finding out that his dad was terrible when he said that like the doctor thinks it's like kind of a family business. Like it's not a shock, but I think the way that it's done introduces loads of new information to you in a really good way, in a way that you don't really get with The Moth, where like Charlie's flashbacks don't really introduce anything new to you. Did you see what I'm getting at?
I think so, yes.
I just think it's great, and I think the title's really good.
Title is good.
I think like there's a lot of titles that are kind of, it's like it's just the right mix between like cool and fun and like too on the nose. Like a lot of the episode titles that are fun, weird are very obvious.
Yeah.
You know, like whatever the case may be. It's like it's kind
Not
of
fun.
it's obvious. But this one is, it's like it's just got that little bit of extra kind of thinking to it. You know, he's going down the rabbit hole, and I think it's really, I just love the White Rabbit.
Wow, I had no idea you felt so strongly, because to me the White Rabbit's not an episode that's up there at all in terms of I'm gonna rewatch it. It's one that I really like, it sticks out in my memory or anything like that. Like, yeah, I kind of couldn't care that much about, I was gonna say I couldn't care less, I could, you know, it's not near the bottom of my ranking, but yeah, White Rabbit to me is not really that. Do No Harm's a much better episode in my opinion.
But it's also one of those things, if we've talked about loads, how in terms of media, I'm always very character focused. So like to me, this is the more exciting episode because it's got more character to it. But like I guess maybe for you, it's more about the plot.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if I have like a blanket. I prefer the plot ones. I guess that's true. But there are lots of character-driven episodes that I love. Hence Walkabout. I'm still so... And in translation.
I'm sorry, but from this point on, they're all amazing episodes to me. What did you have at 12? Have we talked about your number 12?
Yeah, that's Do No Harm.
Okay, yes, we did. Okay, so number 11 is where I have Special.
Okay, interesting. I don't hate that at all.
So it's not too far from where you had it.
Sorry, my key necklace is just clinking around. My Jack key necklace that I'm sporting today.
I think Special is a really interesting episode because it's not what you're expecting to get from Michael and Walt. Like, you know that Michael has been kind of a, you know, we've talked about like Brian, my other dad, and like that his mum's dead, and we don't really know anything about their lives. And then like what we get, I think is a really nice, because it's like what we get is not only does Michael really want to be a dad to Walt, which is a really nice thing to see, but also Walt has psychic powers.
Yeah.
It's like, that's huge. So it's a crazy spanner in the works. You're like, by the way, the kid's magic, and you're like, what?
Yeah, that is huge. So
that's
and really exciting,
great.
and I love Walt. I find him so interesting.
Walt is so fascinating, and I think this episode especially, he's really, really cool. Like just so much of it, I just think is really amazing. And like we've talked about it already, so I'm not going to go into it too much, but I just think so much of it is amazing. I think Harold Perrineau is such an amazing actor. It's got that really cute little baby.
Oh yeah.
So much of it is just so great. And it's so sad.
As much as I hate Susan, she's also a good villain.
She's really good because it's just so deeply tragic, you know? It's like almost with the scene in Exodus Part 3, the Hurley flashback.
Yes.
Where it's like it's so deeply tragic in a way you don't expect it to be. Like you think this is just going to be a story about a guy who like a bit of a deadbeat dad, but it's like no, what it is something so unfathomably sad.
Yeah.
That it just like really hits you.
Completely. I do feel bad about putting Special at number 14, but again, it's like I couldn't find the place for it to go any higher, really. I mean, I'd be open to swapping Special and Do No Harm. I'd be open to doing that.
I think you should.
Because of the other shit in Do No Harm, like the flashbacks and the Shannon and Saeed date. Although I find the hard cuts very funny.
They're funny, but they shouldn't be funny.
Yeah, I know.
Buddha's dying. You shouldn't be laughing, you know?
I know. But this is what the show does, right? Like, it does tonal shifts. Not always well, and not necessarily well/intentional in Do No Harm, ?
I don't think it is intentional. This is the thing.
But yeah.
Like, I think it's supposed to be upsetting that you're like, oh, Shannon's having such a good time and her brother's dying. You're supposed to be sad about it, but like the tone shift is so jarring that it makes you laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'd be open to swapping those around. But that's kind of the only wiggle room I see, really. So at my number 11, I have Exodus Part 1.
Okay.
So I've talked about how I think it's the best part of the finales because of the Black Rock reveal, the Rousseau coming into camp at the beginning, love. My girl is back. Cool. Run, hide or die, love. The flashbacks, I think almost all of them are great. The Sawyer and the Shannon one, who cares? But the Jack one, amazing. The Kate one, no notes. It's beautiful. It's delicious.
The Kate one is brilliant.
It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. The Waltz one, great. Fantastic. And when we had the realisation on air that that's the Walt one, and then you get the Michael one later on, brilliant. And the Sun one's really good as well.
Yeah.
Because you just see how much she's changed. And it's almost like the fact that she's, you know, like putting his food out for him and putting the napkin on his lap in public, it feels like it's almost a show.
It's very performative.
Yeah. And now what we know about her character and everything.
Because even when their relationship is bad, we see she's not really doing that behind closed doors.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, we know that she can stick up for herself, you know? But also she feels like she can't. And she's constantly battling with this. And you see that just in tiny little details, you know? And I think that's really great. And this has also got the Jack and Sawyer scene, emotional scene, where he tells them about his dad.
Yeah, which does mean a lot to me, as we know, with my obsession with Jack's psyche.
So yeah,
that scene is crazy.
I think Exodus Part 1 takes it for me because it has the lore and the plot satisfaction, but it also has the character satisfaction with Jack and Sawyer, with Jin and Sun, with the raft setting off and Vincent swimming out.
No.
It has both. It has both. It has it all. It has it all.
It does have it all, and I think it's a great episode. I just thought Part 3 was better.
Just because of the dramatic reveal at the end?
Mostly. I mean, I'll get to it when I get to it.
Oh, we haven't got to it yet.
I haven't had Part 3 yet.
Oh my goodness, okay.
So, we're at top 10.
We're in the top 10. How are we feeling?
Good. Actually, I think I'm really... I haven't had the Greater Good yet.
The Greater Good's in your top 10.
And I think you're going to be really angry with me. Because it's just so funny to me that you had it so low down.
I'm amazed that you have it so high up.
I know our number ones aren't the same, but I think our sort of top, sort of 3 or 4.
I don't know if our number ones... Do you know that our number ones aren't the same? Have I already said?
It's not one you've already said.
Okay.
But like, I'm relatively confident that my number one is not your number one.
Interesting, because for me, as I was saying, this has been so hard. It's been so, especially the top 10, but the top 15, the top 16, all of it has been so hard.
Everything above 24.
Everything above 24. But for me, number one was locked in. No brainer.
See,
there's no way you can argue.
In that case, I'm putting a star right now, don't look, next to what your number one is.
Okay, and we can reveal at the end.
Actually, no, I'm going to give you my pencil. I want you to try and guess what my number one is.
Oh, gosh.
Because I'll tell you, what I think your number one is not my number one.
It's not one I've said.
And it's not one you've said already.
What do I think your number one? Oh, it could be that.
It's not the Greater Good, also. I'm going to tell you that. It's not the Greater Good.
It could be that.
I think our sort of... A lot of these are going to be similar.
A lot of these are going to be similar.
I think apart from the Greater Good, we're going to basically agree on all of these.
Okay, I'm going to star what I think your number one is.
Okay, so should we say our number 10 together?
Yes.
Okay. Hold my hand.
Okay. Oh, we have to stretch because we're in the Manchester house and the hands are really far apart. Can you hear me?
3, 2, 1.
Pilot Part 1.
Sun. You put Pilot Part 1 that low?
You put House of the Rising Sun that low?
Wow.
That's shocking to me. Okay, team.
Right.
We're in for a discussion now. So
okay, I'll start.
To me, the 2 parts of the pilot could not be below top 10.
Absolutely not.
That was a rule I made for myself. I was like, no matter how much I love everything else, I can't put the 2 parts of the pilot below top 10. However, They have to be 10 and 9 for me. Sorry, spoilers. Because I love them, and I think they're incredible, and they're great as pilots. They're incredible as pilots, and they're an incredible way to introduce you to the show. However, I'm not going back to watch them necessarily.
Really? Because I am.
I'm not going, oh, let's stick on the pilot, because there are so many more better episodes later on in the series.
I feel like I would.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And I know we had this discussion way back when we were doing the pilot, where I think part 1 is better, you think part 2 is better. So I'm shocked by that as well, because I have one above 2.
Yes, and that's fair. Like, it's hard. It's hard to pick between 1 and 2 with the pilots. It's not as easy as Exodus for me.
No, definitely not. Exodus was quite easy to rank.
Yeah. But I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking by it, and I'm saying that part 2 is better. But I'll talk about part 1 for now. Obviously it's incredible. I mean, come on.
It's amazing.
We've got the
eye.
And now the eye, the breathing, and now I can properly say as well, 8:42. Do you remember? I timed how long that opening sequence is, and it's 8 minutes and 42 seconds.
8:42.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And I think that was intentional, and I have no notes. The sewing scene with the sewing up of the gash and Jack's
Literally
back.
perfect.
Gorgeous. Everything about the plane crash, gorgeous. Then you have
Shannon screaming, the guy who gets sucked into the airplane,
Yes.
the engine, the leg guy. John helping the guy.
Yes,
and then
huge.
we find out that's John's like first steps in years.
Huge. I love the bit where Kate takes the shoes off the corpse.
Yes.
And then John smiles with the orange. Beautiful.
Creepy.
That's cinema. That's wonderful. But then there are less good bits, like Jack with the bamboo leaf plane.
The bamboo leaf plane thing is so doof. It's
And I love the noises of the monster, but I think that kind of where they're all running up and clearly hitting their mark.
Yeah.
That's a little bit goofy to me as well.
No, it is a little bit.
But yeah, overall it's an incredible episode. I love Gimme Better Number, I'll Call Her Up. I love like the cockpit bit.
Everybody. The cockpit is so good when the pilot wakes up.
Amazing.
And they have the whole conversation, and then he gets ripped out through
He
the
does,
fucking windscreen.
but then again, it's clearly obviously red paint that gets thrown onto the windscreen,
I
and that
still
takes
think
me
that's
out a bit.
scary.
That takes me out a bit.
And like the trees, the counting Chekhov's counting to 5.
Yeah, and the Jack flashback with the air hostess.
Oh, the flight attendant, I love her.
She's so funny.
Oh my god, I miss her.
Yeah, literally.
Where is she?
Where is she?
She wasn't in any of them. Was she in the montage at all at the end of Exodus?
I don't think so. You know.
I don't think she was there. Because I feel like she would have had a line, I feel like, if she was going to be there. Like, she wasn't one of the ones who, like, helped John get on the plane or anything.
Jimmer.
She wasn't Jimmer.
She wasn't Jimmer.
Well, she might have been Jimmer. Jimmer's on the phone, isn't she?
No, she goes, it's Jimmer.
Oh, is that not who she's talking to?
No.
Okay. She might have been on the other end of the phone.
She might have been on the other end of the phone.
She might have been.
We're going to hold on to that.
Emotionally, she was.
Yeah. But not enough airtime for her, and not enough airtime for Rose as well. Can we talk about how Rose was not in the finale at all?
Rose, girl, where are you? Where has she gone?
Rose!
Genuinely, what happened to her? She just walked off into the forest. Rose Queen.
Oh, yeah.
Where did she go? Okay, so House of the Rising Sun. Again, this was really painful and quite difficult.
It's a punch in the face, that.
I think it's an incredible episode. I really do. I think it's amazing. I think so much about it, specifically the scene between Michael and Sun, where she says, I need to talk to you, my husband has a bad temper, and he's like about to throw hands. The handcuffing, the like Jin absolutely launching himself at Michael, and then Saeed launching himself at Jin. Hilarious in like a bit of a weird way. It's quite funny. A lot of it is amazing. I really think it's an incredible episode. I just don't... I think it's difficult. I truly do just prefer the 9 I have above it. Like, there's not a lot, but if you had to force my hand and get me to give you a reason why it's where it is, I would say that I think it's difficult with how little screen time they have in the episode to really understand the trajectory of Jin and Sun's relationship.
Okay, interesting. On Island, you mean?
like off island.
Off island. I think you understand the trajectory of their relationship quite well.
Because I just think it's...
Well, I guess you don't understand why Jin suddenly starts behaving differently.
This is what I mean. I think it's difficult to understand. You get, like, they were happy, but now they're not, but you don't really get told why, and you don't really find that out until in translation. And even arguably, you don't find out the details of it until even later on. Like, you learn so much more about Jin and Sun's relationship further on in the show.
Yes.
And I think, like, I don't have an issue. I think with the time they have, it's great. But I think in an ideal world, that episode could be sort of longer. And we could see a bit more of them. Like, more about how they, I don't know, how they got together or how, like, the beginnings of the marriage and that kind of stuff. Like, I think, again, stuff we learn later on.
Yeah.
But I think if you had to really, gun to my head, reason why it's number 10, that's what I would say.
Wow.
But I do think it's like an amazing, incredible, perfect episode.
Yeah, it's so well done, isn't it? Like, I mean, I do understand where you're coming from, but I think the flashbacks are like chosen as little snapshots throughout their life really well, I think. And no, we don't get everything, but we get enough. And we get enough to make it, not necessarily for us to understand it, but to make it such a compelling narrative. There are things about House of the Rising Sun which we'll get to when I explain where it is on my ranking. But I'm shocked that it's number 10 for you, because it's such a good episode.
This was so difficult.
Because that was one of the, because it's early, isn't it? It's like number 6 or whatever. That was one of the first moments where I was like, oh, this show. You know, just like,
It is amazing. It is
this
amazing.
show.
And no, I genuinely is just...
Oh, we are in the big leagues now, people.
So number 9, you said you have Pilot Part 2.
I do have Pilot Part 2 at number 9.
Tell me about that.
So the reason...
therapy. Tell me about that.
So tell me about that.
I was in therapy this morning and she asked me what I was doing with the rest of my day, and I said I have a podcast with my sister and I'm recording an episode, and she was like, oh really, what's it about? I was like, have you watched Lost? And then she was like, so you're like an expert on Lost then? I was like, yeah, I guess. And she's like, anyway. And I was like, oh god.
Oh, Velvet's therapist, if you're listening, hi.
Hey diva.
That's so funny.
Anyway, so tell me about Pilot Part 2.
This
is what my therapy sessions look like.
Tell me about
do tell me about why you're so attached to Jack.
Pilot Part 2 I find incredible mainly because of the final scene, when it's that circle panning shot and they find the transmission, and that's the first, okay, we've had the monster, but that's the first moment where there's real intrigue for me. And
it's when it goes silent and then say it goes 16 years. That's like,
oh yeah,
that
cinema.
My heart genuinely drops every time.
Yes, me too. It's so like,
I'm like, fuck, 16 years.
And he goes, the next number's going to be 751 or whatever. And
it's going to end with 854 or something. And...
oh, Saeed, you're the best. Love you so much. Yes.
I wonder, because it's not the number, but how many times would it have to loop in order to get to 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42, do you think?
Ooh. Now that's a question. That's too much maths. I can't be doing that.
What was it? Hang on. No, he said it was 30 seconds long.
Yeah.
So... Let's see. Calculator? I'm going to figure it out. So. 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. So if we divide that...
It's like 4 billion, isn't it?
Yes. So, first of all, we'll divide it by days. No, that's not right. We'll start with 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So divided by 30 seconds, it's 160,505,411.4.
Repetitions.
Yes.
Okay. So then we do that number divided by 60 to get how many... No, hang on.
Divided by 120 to get how many minutes, right? No, hang on. Pause. No, I fucked it. We didn't know. We don't need to divide by 30. It's 30 seconds, so it's 120 times an hour. Yes. So divide by 120.
Oh my god.
So it would have to be running for 40,126,352.85 years.
Yeah.
No, hours.
So then you divide by 24 to get days.
So it's 1,671,931.37 days. divide that by 365.
Yeah.
Is 4,580.6 years.
4,000 years. Perfect. 4,000 years. Said 4,000 years.
Can you imagine him just doing that in his head?
Carry the one.
I bet they probably went, could it be the numbers?
And then went no, wait. Hang on a minute. So it's mainly for that scene, which I think is that's kind of what, sold me on the show. It's a beautiful, beautiful moment, and I love it. And it's so exciting, and it's just incredible. And it's also the intro of my girl, really.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Even though it's a different voice.
It's a different voice. It is, because obviously they hadn't cast her yet. It was only the pilot. But there are also so many other great things about this episode. So we have, the Jack and Hurley trying to save the Marshal, and the where is she? Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. We have Jin giving Claire the fish on the airplane seats.
That's a lovely scene.
Love that scene. We also have Walt going over to John and him going, do you want to know a secret?
Yeah.
Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. And then the flashbacks, we have Charlie on the plane, which is a great one, and the Kate is the criminal reveal.
Yeah.
Which is also great.
No, it's
and
amazing.
I love the case coming and hitting his head, and the plane breaking off, and we see all of that and stuff.
Yeah. And I love that especially because when you watch the behind the scenes documentary, you get to see them filming that 100 times.
So many times.
The
That
guy's playing the
poor
Marshal.
guy! He just it was like polystyrene or something, but it just hit him in the face so many times.
There was genuinely a guy stood behind the camera on a ladder who was just throwing it at him. And then there was a tube in his hair that would spur out a bunch of blood, and then they'd be like, okay, cut, wipe it off.
Yeah.
Back to the beginning.
Incredible. It must have been fun to film, but also quite, you're getting pummeled.
And yeah, the guy who's there's a guy on a wire who gets pulled out. He's standing up, and then he gets pulled out when the plane breaks in half. He has to do that stunt so many times.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I just think it's such a brilliant episode. There are things about it, that I'm not, like Sawyer's being a creep and all of that. I think this is where he beats up Saeed, I think.
Yeah,
it might be Tabula Rasa, but I think it's this one.
No, I think it is because it has to happen. It happens before.
Because Sawyer's basically, he doesn't really do much in the first episode, does he?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, so you're coming on the mission with us?
Yeah.
Even though you're a prick?
And he's got the gun. And
so they wouldn't think he was a prick if he hadn't done anything. Do you know what I mean?
No, he goes, because they find the handcuffs. Walt finds the handcuffs, they think it's Saeed, then you find out Kate's the criminal.
Yes.
They find the handcuffs first, so it is in pilot part 2.
Yeah. So, I'm not
But,
massively...
also, you've got, thank you so much for observing my behaviour.
Yes. There are good bits within it, and also the Saeed Hurley scene, that one's lovely.
Chain-smoking jackass.
So, yeah, I love pilot part 2.
I love pilot part 2. I think what gets it for me is that, for you... the best bit is the scene with the radio. For me, the best bit is the beginning crash montage. So it's for me, part 1 is better, and for you, part 2 is better.
And that's completely
which is
fair.
Totally valid, and we both agree they're top 10, so that's fine.
Yeah. So what do you have at number 9?
You're not gonna like me.
Oh my god.
Deus Ex Machina.
Do you know what? I thought it was going to be lower on yours. Because you hate John so much.
I hate John, but this episode is brilliant.
Because you hate John, and this is technically when he kills Boone, isn't it?
It is. But I can recognise objectively that it's a brilliant episode.
But you don't agree with Do No Harm?
No. Because I think what this episode has that Do No Harm doesn't. Creepy dream sequence.
Yes.
Weird backstory. The Nigerian priest corpse.
The fact that there's another plane on the island, huge.
This episode has so many big hitters in terms of magic and lore and crazy things happening on the island that I was like, it has to go high up. It just has to. And I think this backstory of John, it is better than the backstory in Walkabout, I think. Because
Disagree.
While Walkabout is a good episode, what it all we learn about John is it's like he has this boring life.
We learn everything about John.
I know. Let me get to it. It's like he has this normal life, and that's what's shocking, is you're like, this guy's supposed to be like a big hunter, he has this normal life. And then with Deus Ex Machina, it's like he doesn't have a normal boring life, he has a really tragic life. And I think that is more prominent in Deus Ex Machina when you learn about like him growing up in foster care and never being adopted, and when you learn about like his parents, and when you see his relationship with Anthony Cooper, that it's so much more. I just think it hits harder, you know?
I agree with you that you get that side of his backstory more in Deus Ex Machina, but I disagree. I think Walkabout is a much more compelling watch in terms of the flashbacks.
What about Mousetrap?
Don't care. The Why are the Nerf balls so far away from the regular footballs?
Yeah, being in 4 and 8 or whatever it is.
Well, don't talk to me about that, because almost every episode has a reference to the numbers. That's a good point. I can't rank them on that, can I?
No, we can't. But like, yeah, if only for Teresa Falls Up the Stairs, Teresa Falls Down the Stairs, it's got to be top 10. Literally for that scene.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do agree.
And also like, it's the Boone death episode, yeah, but also it's like one of Boone's best episodes, really. Because you get so much of Boone in this episode. You get his character really comes out in that you get him fighting against John about telling people, and you get the really cool dream where he's suddenly acting out of character, and you're like, why is he doing that? And then it's because it's not real, because it's John's subconscious, and like him climbing up and all of that. Like, actually, you get a lot of Boone in that episode. So it is kind of, in a way, I really like that episode for Boone reasons. Because learning about Teresa is a crazy thing for Boone's psychology as well.
Completely.
So yeah, I do really like that episode. I think it's really good.
It's a great one.
I don't like John, but I really like that episode.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the light coming on in the hatch at the end.
It's an amazing moment. That scene is just done so well.
So good. And the musical score,
yeah,
and it like transitioning from the flashbacks and it carrying over, yeah.
And
Beautiful.
then the fact that you then don't see John again until, what is it, Born to Run?
Great good. Because he shows up at the funeral.
Yes.
He shows up at the funeral.
I can't remember which way around Great Good and Born to Run were. I think that's really cool.
We still haven't had Great Good from you. That's hilarious. So I actually have Deus Ex Machina at number 8.
Okay.
So I'm with you in that it's so good. The dream sequence, the light in the end, and also the B plot of this one is Sawyer needs glasses.
Yeah, which is hilarious.
One of the best B plots ever.
Really funny.
Funny.
Some of the best Jack moments in this episode.
Yeah, completely. And some of the best Sawyer moments. He's goofing around. Well, he's not goofing, but he's a comedy character in this moment.
He's not having a good time, but like narratively, it's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the flashbacks. I just hate Anthony Cooper so much I can't look at him. So I'm not going to choose to watch this episode because I don't want to see him.
This is real, but I think it's that thing of like, it's such a well-written episode.
It is.
Because this is the first time we meet him and we immediately know he's so evil, you know?
Yes. That's a very good point. It is. But yeah, I'm just like... Bro steals his kidney.
Yeah, and it's awful.
As you say... The only reason for it being here, really, is the ones above it are better.
Yeah,
That's kind of where we're at this point in the ranking.
Absolutely. So at number 8, I have Raised by Another.
Wow, okay.
And I kind of wanted it to be higher.
Yeah, man.
But I just... all of them I want them all at number 1, you know?
Yeah.
Raised by Another is just an objectively brilliant. I have no qualms with Raised by Another. I have no issues with it.
I can't believe The Great Good's above Raised by Another.
Raised by Another is an amazing episode. It's a great episode.
Yeah. It's one of the best.
That's the end of it. It's incredible. The psychic, the dream sequence.
Claire's backstory is incredible.
Claire's backstory is really cool. I mean, Thomas, don't really care.
No, but he's good as a character, isn't he?
Good. He is good as a character. Here's the Ethan reveal. He wasn't on the plane.
He wasn't on the plane. Saeed coming in. Listen to me.
Saeed fainting maiden.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
We're not alone. Yeah.
Really cool, really cool. Maybe I would put it higher up. Maybe if I could rewrite it, I might switch it around a little bit.
I nearly starred that one as your number one, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
Is that what you said? It could be that one?
No, the one I said, it could be that one is what I have starred.
Oh, okay.
But it was a toss-up between that one and Raised by Another.
Wow.
Because I know how much we both love Claire.
No, we do love Claire. We do love Claire.
And Raised by Another is such a brilliant episode. And for me, I spent a long and hard time thinking about where to place it. And I think I am happy with where it is. But it's a lot higher than number 8. And I thought it could be number 1 for you. I really did.
I mean, it could be. But in the sense that a lot of these could be. Maybe,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess The Great Good would never be my number 1, but Raised by Another could have been my number 1. So maybe it should be higher.
Please tell me The Great Good's next.
No.
Oh my god! This is mad. What's next then?
Exodus Part 3.
Okay, I forgot we hadn't had that from you yet.
So yeah, Exodus Part 3, I've got next. I've talked about it at length, why I like it so much. I felt like, similarly to how I felt that the pilot couldn't go lower than top 10, I felt like at least a bit of Exodus needed to be, because it's just like the beginning and end of the season are both so incredible that I felt like they both needed to be that high up, you know?
Interesting. I'll give you a little peek behind the curtain here.
Mm-hmm.
I initially had the same feeling. I was like, I feel like one part of Exodus needs to be in the top 10. And so I had Exodus Part 1 in the top 10. And I may have actually completely swapped them. I don't remember, because I just remember going, oh no, this needs to be higher, oh no, this needs to be higher.
Mm-hmm.
But the episode that I'm about to say at number 7 was originally at number 11.
Okay.
And I've bumped it up to number 7.
I feel like I have a very deep, intense feeling about what it is, but I don't know why.
So yeah, I guess Exodus Part 1 and this one were initially swapped around, but I do think this is a better episode, and so it had to be in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
All the best cowboys have daddy issues.
Yeah, that's weirdly what I had a feeling it was going to be.
Oh, there you go.
Because I felt like you would put it like lower and then go, never mind.
Before we recorded this podcast, I definitely wouldn't have put it in my top 10 for Series 1 episodes.
Really? Because I always would have.
I really wouldn't. But it was when we rewatched it and when we talked about it at length, and I think your enthusiasm on it rubbed off on me a bit.
My intense Jack brain is really infectious.
But it is a really fantastic episode, and it has so much in it, you know, and it's like, you kind of get a similar thing that you get in Exodus, where everyone clubs together to try and find Claire, you know?
Yeah.
And you've got Jack running around delirious in the jungle, you know?
Yeah.
And
you've got the tape, which we talked about already.
Yes. Obviously, that scene with Jack, Kate, and Charlie where they're trying to resuscitate him.
Don't even talk to me.
Is incredible. It is truly incredible. And it's so gut-wrenching and heart-wrenching to watch. Like, it is...
It's horrible.
And there is
in
a
the
moment
best way, you know?
that, you know, first time watching, I was
dead?
like, Charlie's dead.
I was like, that's it, Charlie's dead.
It is. It is truly, like, wild. And then you've got, like, little moments in this one as well, where... So Saeed has come back, hasn't he? He said he would never come back, and he has. And so Sawyer goes over and threatens him with a razor.
Yeah, that whispery scene.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Completely forgot about that scene before we started recording the podcast, and I was like, oh no, that's a really good moment.
Because it's like Jack and John are gone. And so Sawyer and Saeed are like the next level of main characters, and like Kate's gone, and then it's like they could just kill each other right now.
Yeah. But they don't, and Sawyer even says, I kept your signal fire burning. You know, and it's like it's
the return of the apple moment.
Yeah, it is actually. It's kind of the first time we ever get a glimmer of niceness from Sawyer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's huge. But truly, the brilliant thing in this episode is the discovery of the hatch.
I mean, just everything about it is amazing.
Love those two teaming up, because it's the first time we've seen it, and then obviously...
The rain moment, the red shirt
The rain moment, the red shirt thing. Gorgeous, gorgeous. All of it's gorgeous. And then the dropping of the torch. I think I talked about this for a solid 10 minutes on the podcast. The dropping of the torch.
Dropping of the torch
to find the hatch one of the best things about the show.
The other thing about Extras Part 3, why I pad it at the top, is the moment where Hurley notices the numbers.
Yes.
On the hatch. Well, like you said, same, he drops the torch.
Yes.
And then he looks at it.
It is amazing. The numbers are bad. Oh, it's great.
Why would you do that? Start forgot the thing.
Oh,
Incredible.
It is great.
So that's kind of fun that those are on the discovery of the hatch and the blowing of the hatch. We've got on the same number.
Yeah, point in our lists. I like that. I like that a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, it's not, I guess, again, the only reason it's not higher is because all the other ones are better, but like the flashbacks I'm not massively invested in. Like, they're good. I think they're the best Jack. I think this is the highest ranking Jack episode I have.
I think it's the best Jack episode of the season. By quite a bit, I would say.
Yeah, it's the highest ranking Jack episode I have, and I think I think that scene in the middle with where Christian convinces him to sign the thing or whatever is amazing. The other flashbacks, not so much. Like, they're not bad, but they're not whoa, like almost every other flashback
the bit
is
where he
before.
refuses, where he says withdrawing my statement.
No, that's good. Yeah, no, that's good. But it's like every other episode from this point onwards, the flashbacks are like, fuck.
Yeah.
Whereas these ones are not so much. You kind of just go, oh, he's so invested in saving Claire because she's pregnant. And it's like, okay.
I mean, that's a bit weird.
You know, like...
I kind of forget that that's what it's supposed to be. Because to me, it's just about him and his dad. And his, like, integrity of not lying about what happened to them. And that kind of thing.
Mm.
And his just general desire to save people. Like, to me, it's more like... In that episode, what you learn is that Christian kind of views it as like a job and these things happen, whereas Jack values their lives more, I guess, arguably, than his dad's career, you know? And he's willing to destroy his relationship with his dad over the integrity of the job, and that's like, he wants to save people, and so he wants to save Claire because at his core, he just, like, he wants to save people, he wants to save people's lives. Like, I kind of forget that the pregnancy thing is really relevant.
Something that I wanted to flag when I went and read my notes back, I've written down a quote from All the Best Cowboys where Boone's talking about Star Trek, and he says, like, oh, the red shirts always died, and John says that Kirk sounds like a piss poor captain for letting them all die.
Oh, really?
How interesting!
Does he now, John? And what kind of captain are you?
I thought you'd enjoy that one.
Literally fuck him. Fuck that stupid old man. I can't believe you've put Walkabout at like number fucking 2. I can feel it.
Walkabout's an incredible episode.
Fuck John! I hate him. Okay.
Not in Walkabout. Okay, right, come on.
Number 6. Pilot Part 2.
Okay. It's high.
I'm shocked that I put both pilot episodes so much higher than you did.
Because I just think there are so many better episodes.
But I think the pilot as a whole, it just does such a good job of setting up, like...
Yeah.
It's not only like a setup. Like, honestly, to me, like, Tabula Rasa, Walkabout, White Rabbit feel more like setting up the story than the pilot do. The pilot feels like it's its own closed narrative. Like, the crew even talked about, like, they felt like they were making a film.
It's almost like it's tonally setting it up rather than setting up specific plot points.
Yeah. Because I think it's really great that we don't get too much character. Which I know is crazy coming from me because I'm the one who says I'm, like, really character motivated. But, like, the pilot are very much ensemble cast episodes. Even though Jack's the first one you see, like, it's very much, everyone feels of, like, almost equal significance. And what it is, it's just, like, you have all these people from different walks of life who have to band together. And, like, you don't really, it's when we start learning when they start, like, separating them, we learn their individual backstories. That's when it feels like it's, like, now we're setting up for the long term. Like, the pilot feels like its own thing in a really special way. And I definitely would go back and rewatch the pilot. I mean, maybe not part 2 in isolation. But, like, I definitely would go back and rewatch, like, the pilot episodes just for fun.
At number 6, I have House of the Rising Sun.
Okay.
So...
Oh, God, I should remember we've not even had either of them from you yet.
Yeah.
I was looking at my list and I was trying to remember what you hadn't said yet.
Yeah. This felt bad for me because I wanted to put it in the top 5. I did. I really did. So it feels bad to put it at number 6. But the way I justified it to myself was that was based on the subplots, because I was like, the flashback narrative is so wonderful. And the Sun's journey in this episode is so wonderful. And Jin and Michael and all of that stuff, love. But the B plot is Jack, Kate, and Charlie get attacked by bees.
Because I was thinking that's not in The Moth, but it's around then.
Yeah.
It's just a bit, it's like it's...
Just a bit odd. A little bit slapsticky in a way. And Jack and Kate have this weird flirting thing going on, where she's like really trying to flirt with him and he's like, Loki doesn't care.
Is that the episode of If I Was Checking You Out, You'd Know?
Yes!
Oh, Jack, you're so... Oh, my favourite bitchless loser.
Yeah, so that's why it's gone not in the top 5 for me.
That's totally
which
fair.
feels arbitrary. But at the same time, you have to acknowledge that that's part of the episode, you know?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
If I'm going to go and watch that episode, which I would and have done, like just gone, I'm just going to watch House of the Rising Sun, I feel I have to deal with watching that scene, you know?
And I think, like I said to Ariel before we started this, that largely my ranking is based on the backstories.
Yeah.
But not so much like the flashback, in the sense of like the flashbacks and the central...
Yes.
The character,
because that's how each episode is defined, really, isn't it?
But I think when it gets to the nitty-gritty of these, sometimes you do just have to go into the like tiny moments.
Exactly. But yeah, I love House of the Rising Sun, I do, and it's a gorgeous episode. It was our first episode of the podcast that we recorded that broke 2 hours.
Yeah.
In the raw recording. So that felt very special. And yeah, it's just... Because Sun has been such a background character up until this point, it's like Walkabout, where you go, oh, I really didn't expect to get the lore this early on.
I guess,
And the absolute jaw-dropping reveal that she can speak English.
Not until House of the Rising Sun. It's like halfway through the episode of House of the Rising Sun, I was like, I think she speaks English.
See, I don't... Our mum has a track record of doing this, where, like, you'll be watching a show with her, and she's already, like, figured out the ending.
Yeah, it's because she's really obsessed with, like, Agatha Christie.
Yes.
And she's read so many murder mysteries, she's watched so many murder mysteries, that I think it's just, like, this weird skill that's been... It's like this pattern noticing thing, where she just knows what the plot twist is going to be.
Yeah.
Because she's read so many mystery stories.
But I think she's actively trying to figure it out when she's watching
Yeah.
a show. Whereas I'm not like that at all. I kind of sit back and let these show just to be absorbed into my eyeballs. You know?
like trust that they're going to explain it to me, which with Lost sometimes is the bad way to go, because sometimes they don't.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I wasn't thinking, I guess, whilst House of the Rising Sun was happening.
I think it just kind of popped into my head and I was like, oh, I think that's where this is going to go.
It's after the episode's finished that we get the thinking started and we get the delving into what could it all mean. But yeah, no, I really didn't see it coming.
No, I love House of the Rising Sun.
And I love House of the Rising Sun. I think it's one of the best episodes of the show.
It's
and
amazing.
It's crazy that it's not in the top 5 for me. But even crazier, where did you rank it?
10. So it is still in my top 10.
Still, though.
So, we've made it.
Top 5.
We've made it, Ariel, to the greater good.
You've put the greater good at number 5.
Yes.
Oh my Christ.
Because it's amazing, Ariel. That backstory is like one of the most heartbreaking backstories in the entire 6 seasons of the show. Those flashbacks. They're incredible.
I wouldn't go that far. But I do agree that flashbacks are the best part of the episode.
They're amazing. So much about them is incredible. They are literally like so perfect in so many ways. The fact that we see Saeed be given the pictures of Nadia that we know from the beginning. The fact that it's like, so the way it all goes, that you don't know, like with like a lot of them, like with like Born to Run, for example. I know I keep comparing them. Yeah, it's not on purpose. You know when you see the plane that Tom's going to die, but you don't know that that's how it's going to go. And when Saeed stops that truck, you think that they're going to be okay. And then they aren't. And it's like the fact that it's the day before the flight and that's the reason why. And the fact that you know that then this happened 2 days ago when all of this pilot stuff is happening. And like so much of it is so incredible. The way that the police like manipulate him, it's so upsetting. And I just think it's just so good.
I do agree. It's the rest of the stuff in the episode that puts it way further down for me. Like, the Booneral's funny because it's the Booneral, and it's good in its actual self.
It's a very powerful scene because it's like it's not a red shirt. Crucially,
yeah,
you know, it's a character we've gotten to know and love, and it's a very sad moment. Saeed's speech is really nice. Shannon's moment is really nice, but she doesn't want to speak. Shannon, this is the one episode where Shannon does stuff that I agree with, because I think she really kind of comes into her own suddenly in this episode, where she asks Saeed to kill John for her.
Yeah,
that's incredible. That's so cool. Like, also, yes, kill him, but that's just my own personal issue. But I'm like, yeah, because like I said when we were recording The Greater Good, I kind of forgot. I thought everyone moved on from the fact that it was John's fault immediately, but Shannon doesn't, and I think that's amazing.
So I see what's happened here. You're on the Boone train so hard, and you've been thinking that, like, you've been Boone, Boone, Boone this whole time we've been doing the podcast, and then you've gone, oh, I forgot that they took Boone's death seriously in this episode, so that's why you've ranked it so highly.
No, truly, genuinely, the only reason I put it at number 5 is because of Assam and the backstory. Truly. Because I was like, I cannot put it lower than, like, I started, I was like, it has to be my top 10. Because that is such a powerful narrative.
It is a powerful narrative, I agree, but that doth not an episode of Lost make.
But it doth.
Sometimes
it doth. And I think the fact that Saeed doesn't kill John is a really important thing also. And then that he gets shot in the head, and then you can see it for all of Exodus. He's still got the scrape on his head.
Oh, who cares? All of them have scars that are visible for more episodes.
I know, but they're all from the pilot.
I just think the on-island episode, the on-island plotline is quite weak. It's just not that exciting.
It's isolated. It's not really, doesn't really contribute to the overarching plot.
It's filler.
But I wouldn't call it filler.
You called it filler like an hour ago when you were saying it's like a filler between that and the Boone's death and the finale.
But like filler tends to be stuff that's not particularly, it's whatever. Like, yeah, okay, you could probably take that episode out and it wouldn't change a whole lot. But like, it's still an amazingly compelling narrative on its own. I think it's a great episode.
I'm absolutely bombarded by the fact that it's in your top 5.
Yeah.
Top 5 episodes of this incredible season.
Like I said, in retrospect, maybe I would swap it with Raised by Another. I can't believe this, though, because you love Saeed so much.
I do love Saeed, of course I love Saeed, and I love the narrative, but it's barely a Saeed episode, even though it's a Saeed episode. It's all about Shannon and John. I don't care.
I mean, it is giving Homecoming a little bit in the sense of, like, make it an episode about the woman.
Yeah. It just... It has slight Homecoming energy. It has slight whatever the case may be energy. It has slight Born to Run energy for me. That's why it's down there with those.
I agree with you, but also, like, all the Kate flashbacks are kind of boring. All the Saeed flashbacks are amazing.
Agree.
So it's better.
Yes, but not that much better. Not at this extent. It's such an extreme jump. Wow. I mean, I don't remember what you've got left as your top 4, but it's crazy that
I think
you've put episodes like House of the Rising Sun, like Raised by Another, like in translation lower.
There are 2 that I've got that you've not said yet. I think they're your 1 and 2. But I've got them at 2 and 3.
Okay. Well, I'm going to debunk that right now because number 5 is Numbers.
5! 5!
This was also hard.
5!
This was also hard, Velvet.
5! You didn't even put it at 4! 5!
It would have been good for the bit, but it's going at 5 for me. It was hard. It was...
Really?
I had it at 3 initially, and then it got moved down to 5.
Moved down to 5 from 3?
It did.
What the fuck?
Look. Again, I was thinking about the episode itself.
Is amazing.
And it is.
Russo, it's got Russo. You put a Russo episode.
It's top 5. It's top 5. Come on.
I can't believe you. It's got Russo. It's got Hurley. It's horribly tragic. It's got Hurley's mum.
I know.
It's like funny in a really sad way. It's
I know.
the hug moment.
I know. It's an incredible episode. It is. It's all of those things. I love it. I love the numbers. You know how much I love the numbers.
You're obsessed with the numbers.
You're talking bit. The numbers. It's got her. I love the numbers. I am obsessed with the numbers.
Lenny.
And I love noticing the numbers and the idea of the numbers being presented in this episode, because it's not hinted at all before.
No.
Is amazing and mind-blowing. But again, I was thinking about it of, if I was going to go and watch an episode now, I already know about the numbers. And I know that's not a good way to rank it, guys, but I was grasping at straws here.
Shit.
I know. But yeah, I think the only real sort of justification of it being lower is the kind of the physical journey that Hurley goes on in the episode. Like,
is incredible.
Going through the jungle, dodging the traps, going over the bridge. I'm not that interested.
You're not interested. Who built that bridge?
I mean, it's a good question.
Who built that bridge?
But I'm
What about Russo's traps?
I love the flashbacks. Love. Love the Russo and Hurley scene. Gorgeous no-nos.
The battery.
Yeah, but like the quest for the battery, it's not giving. I think Charlie pisses me off in this episode as well, I think that's also part of it. He's who cares? I know. And the B plot in this episode is amazing as well. It's John building the cot for Claire.
Come on!
It's
Claire's
gorgeous.
birthday!
It's Claire's birthday, which is incredible. And I love numbers. I do love numbers.
I cannot. I for a while thought that was going to be your number one.
I know, and it's so incredible. And like, the fact that you get to episode 19?
I think so. Oh, I'll tell you if we're only written down this side. 18.
It's 19 of the podcast. The fact that you get to episode 18 and you've not had a Hurley backstory yet.
Because you think you're just not going to get it.
Yeah.
And then you do, and it changes everything.
Yes, it does. And I'm not trying to...
And the end of the episode is the shot of the numbers on the hatch.
I know. And I'm not trying to make light of any of that, for want of a better phrase. I think I love it. But it was painful.
I can't believe you.
But it's got to go at number 5 for me. I'm sorry.
I can't believe you couldn't even put it at 4.
You're not going to be happy.
Is 4 Walkabout?
4 to Walkabout.
You couldn't even swap Walkabout and numbers around so numbers would be at one of the numbers.
I'd be open to doing that for the bit. Also because
it's better.
I don't know if it is better though, because Walkabout... Break the sound barrier. Only dogs can hear you. Walkabout is such a beautiful, beautiful narrative. And so unexpected. Of course, Hurley's one is unexpected. But it's like I think the flashbacks are so well crafted and they present this gorgeous like journey that you go on. I really appreciate Walkabout for its beauty as an object that is crafted in something that's so wonderful. And I really like the shift in Jack's character on Island, where he goes like, I don't want to be the leader, and it's a really great Claire moment because she runs the funeral service. It's also got Jack and Rose's scenes.
Dude, I should move White Rabbit higher up. Sorry.
No!
The speech!
The speech is overused.
Oh, but it's good. It's better than...
Listen to me. Walkabout has the Jack and Rose scenes.
No, I love the Jack and Rose
They're
scenes.
the best.
I love the Jack and Rose
And it's got Michael, Kate and John teaming up to go hunt. That's a really weird pairing, and we never really get that trio again.
God, I remember it.
And the monster, and so much. But it's, it's the flashbacks for me, and it's just... It's so... His character is so different, and it just presents you with this entirely new perspective. And yeah, I think maybe I'm not more likely to go back to that than I am numbers. I don't know. It was hard. It was really hard.
The thing is, I don't know that watching them in isolation is the best system, because also Walkabout as a closed story. Like if I was to meet someone who never watched Lost and then we sat down and watched Walkabout, I feel like they get it, you know, like they would find that a really exciting narrative. Whereas like if I sat down with them and watched Numbers, they wouldn't necessarily understand why it's so significant. But like both of them are equally great episodes, you know, like I don't know.
Yeah, maybe the system of ranking is flawed, but it's all I could really...
Yeah, no, but this is the thing, because I thought the same thing. I thought about which ones would I want to watch again.
I mean,
but I guess
think
us watching them again is different to someone who's never seen it
before, watching them out of context. I think Numbers is a compelling thing to watch without it. It's more compelling having seen the first 17 episodes of the show.
Knowing Hurley beforehand
and
is very important.
What do you have at number 4?
Number 4, I have Pilot Part 1.
Okay, wow. Yeah, that's high.
It is high because it's great.
But that's fair enough.
I think the pilot is just an amazing episode. I think the eye-opening, you know, the vodka, the sewing, so much of that is so amazing. I really love it. And I think I was like, I felt like I had to have a pilot episode in top 5.
So what did you have at 5, sorry?
5, I had Great Good.
Oh my god, how could I forget? So you've separated the pilot parts, that's interesting.
Yeah, so part 2 is at 6, then Greater Good, then part 1.
You think Greater Good is better than pilot part 2? Are you out of your goddamn mind?
Does pilot part 2 have the biggest, saddest eyes imaginable?
Does the Greater Good have a transmission that's been playing for 4,000 years?
Number 3, I have Numbers.
Okay.
Because it's amazing. I've discussed at length my thoughts on Numbers.
Yeah. Again, I had it at number 3 originally.
I had between... This was my top 3, I went between them for ages. Between what would be 1 and what would be 2 and what would be 3. Because they all initially... I wanted them all at 1, you know? And then I kept being like, well, but that one's really good, but that's not, but that's... And I love Numbers, but I do think I'm happy with it at 3.
Yeah. I know what you have left.
You know what my number 1 is, I'm sure. I know what your number 1 is.
I think we know each other's, and I feel you, and I recognise why you needed those 3 at top 3.
You know?
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah, and if I do feel bad putting Numbers at number 5, but number 5 is still super high.
I know.
All of these are great. All of them are great.
It's just because Numbers is such an incredible... It changes everything.
It does. It does. You didn't even talk about Pilot Part 1.
No, well, we talked about it already.
Yeah. So at number 3, I have Raised by Another.
Okay, I couldn't remember what the other one you hadn't said yet was.
Raised by Another, I nearly put it at 2.
Oh god, I'm doubting what I've said to your number 1 now.
I nearly put Raised by Another at 2 because I think Claire is one of the most interesting characters in the whole show.
No, I've changed my mind. I'm confident what you have as number 1 again.
Let me talk about Claire. I love her so much. She's the only Australian crash survivor.
Which is insane.
Insane. She's so wonderful and interesting as a character. And her backstory is so, like, I just love watching her on screen. And I love her backstory. I love the psychic. And I love the opportunities that the psychic affords for us to speculate on what it all goddamn means.
The concept of the psychic being correct is brilliant. Because it allows us to go, there is definitely something magical going on.
Absolutely. And I think this is an episode, as every piece of the puzzle of this episode, I kind of have no notes. Like the dream sequence, incredible. Then you also have like the flashing sequence of Ethan injecting her and stuff.
That's
all amazing, all amazing. Then you've got Hurley's census, which I think is a really fun plotline. I was going to say device, but just plotline, you know? And yeah, the Ethan reveal, as we've talked about. Worth mentioning, I don't know if we mentioned this at the time, but worth mentioning that Ethan Rom is an anagram of other man.
I don't think we did say anything because I didn't want to
No. Spoil it.
say. But yeah, it is.
Yeah. And also, this might be a real "are you stupid" moment.
Go on.
But I've been watching a few YouTube videos on Lost recently. And it wasn't until I was watching this person like talking about Lost and unpacking Lost and everything.
Okay, I have a feeling this is I'm gonna either go, oh my god, or I'm gonna go, Jesus Christ, you're an idiot. Go on, hit me with it.
The idea that the title, Raised by Another, is raised by an other. Because Ethan tries to kidnap the baby.
No, I didn't.
I never clocked that. And I was like, oh, I'm stupid.
Because I've always thought, why does the crash have to happen if they're going to take the baby?
Yeah.
But I guess if by raised by another, yeah, there's an implied space.
Yeah. And I was like, wait, how did I never see that before?
No, I never clocked that.
I don't
either.
know what it means or if it means anything or whatever, but just the idea that raised by another could mean raised by an other in a very obvious way.
That's really interesting. It's kind of giving, last episode when I was talking about I don't know what Aaron means. I want you to tell me what's your number 2 now, because I need to know if I got it right or not. And I'm really not sure. I was really confident, then I wasn't sure, and then I was confident, then I'm not sure. And I think I got it right.
I think the one that I starred is going to be your number 1. Given that you're going, I don't think we have the same one. So I guess that's a hint.
Okay, so yeah, then I'm right.
Number 2 I have in translation.
Yes, okay, I was right. Yes.
Yeah, it was close between Raised by Another and in translation for number 2, but just the absolute 180 with the flashbacks. I just love it, and I think it's so brilliant storytelling, and it's like, it's so gorgeous to watch, and it's so interesting, and I love Jin as a character, and this is the first moment where you kind of love Jin as a character, and it's like, well, at least I did. And I think that carries on throughout the later seasons, and I always go, oh, Jin's like a fave, and then I remember what he's like at the start of season 1, and I go, oh no, I can't say that Jin's like one of my favourite characters because he's so horrible at the beginning.
It takes a long time for him to sort of get to being a fave.
It does, but I think that's great.
Absolutely. I like that they really don't rush it.
If they don't rush it, and their ability to completely change your opinion on him is very impressive.
No, definitely. And like to genuinely, not only to completely change your opinion on him, but to genuinely redeem him.
Yes.
I think it's very difficult with characters. Often villain characters that get redemption arcs, it's often like it's like, oh no, tragic backstory, and then everyone's nice to them now, and there's never really an actual, like, Jin really works hard.
Absolutely, he does.
To earn that, and he continues to across the future seasons.
Yeah. And just think about as well, like, how in the pilot he's saying things to Sun like, we're not going to talk to anyone else, you're going to stay by my side at all times.
It's just the two of us.
And then think about in translation when he goes over to Michael and says boat, and he's like, I'm going to help you build a raft with you, a stranger. I'm going to help you build this raft so that I can help all of us get rescued.
Yeah.
Like, what a difference.
And this is what I think, crucially to me, the real, like, golden moment of Jin's, like, aspect of Jin's redemption arc is the fact that he tries to connect with everyone else. Because it's like, not only is he working on his relationship with Sun, but it's like he goes to everyone else, and he appreciates that, like, the way he's behaved has affected everyone, and he just wants to connect with people, and he wants to, like, learn English and all of that. And I think, like, that is really important, and that I really like that you've connected that with him saying don't talk to anyone else right at the beginning, because he just completely changes his opinion because he's forced to, yes. And because, like, when you're forced to be around those people, he has to go, oh no, I can't just avoid these people,
Yeah, but then if you look at someone like Sawyer, he still goes, I can avoid all these people and will.
Yeah.
For the most part. Obviously, I'm simplifying it, but it's just so brilliant. And it's not really until this watch through that I've fully sat down and gone, which do I prefer, House of the Rising Sun or In Translation? Because they're both such excellent episodes, and I would watch both of them in a heartbeat. And it's when I've sat down and made this list that I've really gone, no, In Translation is my second favourite episode of this season, and that's just the facts.
It's funny, it's the same with the pilot. I prefer the first one and you prefer the second one. Although with Exodus, it's the other way around.
There you go. Complexities.
Isn't that crazy?
But go on, you're number 2.
Well, let's talk about it. Solitary,
yes.
So I when I put that down, I was like, that'll be Ariel's number 1. Because it's an amazing episode.
How could it not
just
be?
peak. Like, so much about it. Chains around the feet, sweating, delirium.
Yeah. Let's get into it. Solitary's my number 1. Let's just talk about it. Solitary's my number 1. To me, it's the perfect episode of Lost, basically. Saeed's backstory.
Oh my god.
You find out that he's a torturer in the previous episode, right? And you kind of get this idea of, oh, Saeed's been this guy that we've loved the whole time, and he's been, he's been one of our faves, and he's been a leader, and he's been helping the group, and then suddenly we find out he has this horrible history. And he's doing these awful things to Sawyer, but then he feels such remorse, and he says, like, I said I would never do these things again, and I can't, I have to leave the group, essentially, doesn't he? And he kind of exiles himself. That's really interesting in and of itself, but then when you actually see it, it's not like, but he was a good guy. He still tortures Nadia.
Yeah.
Right? He still does torture her. But we still get the emotional back and forth between those two. The dialogue is beautiful. Their relationship is so wonderful that they were kind of like childhood friends.
Yeah, it's so amazing. And that's such a brilliant sort of little moment with the writing as well.
Yeah.
If they could have just been friends, Yeah. But it's the fact they knew each other when they were little
They
kids.
could have dated at uni or something like
Yeah.
that. But the fact that they knew each other when they were children, and then it's to be like, look at the adults we've become. We're now on opposite sides of this war or whatever. And it's like, look at the things adults are capable of doing to each other.
Yeah, when they played together as kids.
Yeah. And that's incredible. And then the fact that he does help her escape as well. But he still thinks that she's dead and that he's responsible for her death.
Yeah, because he just thinks she must have been caught.
It's the uncertainty.
Yeah.
The uncertainty of everything. And you'd think that someone like him, who's the soldier, who's in the position of power, would have certainty, would have the information. And yet he doesn't. So that's all incredible.
That's all amazing.
For starters. And then...
And that's just for starters. Now let's talk about it.
And then we get my favourite character. I can't even talk about how much I love Russo.
It's like, she's just so incredible.
She's just, the way that she's introduced as well, fully like electrocuting this man. Where is Alex? And all the different languages.
Yeah.
Oh my god, like you immediately reassess everything. You're like, what the hell's going on?
And literally anything could be happening. We don't even know at this point about the concept of the others or anything like that, because we learned that from Danielle. So this is just like, oh my god, what's happening?
Yeah.
The realization that she's the French woman.
Yes, huge.
Crazy.
The life that she's led for 16 years on the island by herself in this little, hut or whatever.
Like underground thing.
The rifle, if we're lucky, it's one of the bears. Oh, the music box. Oh, come on!
Oh, the music box. The way she
the
like
rusty
knocks him
needle
out,
sedative, yeah,
knocks
man.
him out and then wakes him up again and is like, fix my music box. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
And it's like, what's so perfect about it is the way that Saeed understands everything she's doing.
Yes.
Like, it's the way that not only is it that, like, we see his backstory as a soldier and the shit that she's doing, and it's not even just like the kind of, the like kind of army training of like stay calm in a crisis. It's not even that. It's that he completely understands why she's doing what she's doing, and is he's not like, let me go, untie me. He's just like, yeah, okay, I'll fix your music box. He's just like, this is who she is. And I think Saeed has such an amazing fundamental understanding of Danielle as a person.
Yeah.
That comes up every single time Danielle features in the show,
Yes.
pretty much.
Yes.
And, like, yeah, it's just, their connection is just something so, so special.
So special. So incredible. And the fact that we get so much lore about Saeed's backstory in this episode, but we also get Danielle's backstory, weirdly, don't we? You know, like, we find out about her team and her husband and, like, her child and all of this.
Yeah. It's and I like that we just get told that, like, there's no flashbacks of her.
No.
We find it all out from her, which also means any of it could be not true.
Unreliable narrator, yes! It's just
incredible.
And we get introduced to so much island lore as well.
Yeah.
The others, the whispers,
Multiple bears.
People. Multiple bears.
Her traps and everything.
Electricity.
The cable.
The cable on the beach. Are you shitting me right now? Love the cable. Love.
So much about it is just amazing. And, like, Saeed going off at the end, and he hears the whispers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's beautiful.
I was disoriented.
And then you've also got the golf course.
And the golf course.
In that episode.
Rash
guy. I love the golf course because it's a comedy plotline, but it's also not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Hurley makes such a good point that they can't just be really in crisis mode 24/7.
It's like a light-hearted plotline in the sense that, like, Hurley, ever the genre aware, understands that they need something light-hearted.
Yes.
And it's so, I think that's so amazing because it's like, they do. Like, they genuinely all have a good time and, like, are happier after they do it. It's so great. I love the golf course.
Yeah.
The fact that Jack is, like, he, like, says something about, like, being a doctor, meaning he's good at golf or something.
Oh, yeah, there's
That's
definitely
ridiculous.
some comment like that. The scene where he's, like, really intense with Michael, and then it turns out they're just putting
Like, ready to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then it, like, cuts to, like, Charlie and Hurley, like, waving the golf carts around. Oh, it's amazing.
It's truly beautiful. And, oh my god, I love Saeed, I love Danielle. This is her first moment, her best moment, one of his best moments. It's just beautiful.
I'll find you in the next life, if not in this one. Oh, beautiful.
Just no notes, honestly, this episode is so good. And it's the best episode of the season, in my opinion.
Disagree. This is the thing. Is I was like, it's got to be something like Solitary or Numbers at the top. And when I came to do my ranking, I came down to it and I was looking at the list and I went, no, my favourite episode in the season is All the Best Cowboys Have Daddy Issues.
So that's the one I asterisked and I was like, oh, it could be that one.
When you said, oh, it could be that, I was like, it's that one.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, what I was going to say about Raised by Another is I think part of the reason why I put that lower is because I ranked All the Best Cowboys so high, because I think a big thing of Raised by Another is Ethan and, like, the twist of him being, like, the villain at the end. Whereas, like, a big reason why I put All the Best Cowboys so high is because of Ethan and how scary he is. So I think that kind of separated it a little bit for me.
Yeah, but Claire is not in that episode at all.
I know, but do you see what I'm getting at?
Yes.
All Those Cowboys is so, so special to me in so many ways. First of all, you all know I love Jack more than life itself. Jack, this episode is just amazing for Jack because I think, like, the fact that in White Rabbit we get the bit of the, like, not after what you did, and it's like, oh, what did he do? But it's like, actually, you're so completely on his side in that. Like, I think really cements Christian as a really terrible person. And I think that scene where he refuses to, like, sign that paper or, like, says the whatever it was, to the best of my medical knowledge, she couldn't been saved, whatever. I don't remember the exact line. Is such a powerful scene to me because that's also, like, you see through all the flashbacks, kind of before and after, that Christian has so much power over Jack. And obviously after this moment, he's, like, almost broken free of that power he has over him. Because obviously the wedding and stuff, that all happens before. And so this is like the moment where he kind of breaks free from him, and then he dies, and then he's haunting him on the island. So you can never escape him. And I think that all falls together really well. I think the way it's done is so good in like them like him like running off into the jungle to try and find her, and then it being like, you know, Jack doesn't know what he's doing, and then like John and Kate go. Ethan is so scary. Feathers McGraw. And like that, I truly do genuinely think that the moment where they pull back the leaves and you see Charlie hanging from the tree and he's got the like L, I think it is, or the T.
Whatever the last one is.
The last letter still on his finger after they've been picking them up is the scariest moment of the whole show. It genuinely, it freaked me out so much in the best possible way. Like it's so scary. It's so well framed. I think the overarching plotline of the episode is so brilliant because it's like, it's not, it's like it's a horror. It suddenly becomes this horror. It switches what I was gonna genre.
Say. The thing is, it's so scary because it's so unlike anything we've seen before in this show.
It's so separate, and I just love it so much. And I think like the scene where they're giving him the CPR is incredible. The fact that they don't find Claire is so horrible, because then it's like you're ending this with this guy who is so dangerous and he still has Claire, and it's like it doesn't get resolved, but it does still sort of, because they bring Charlie back. Finding the hatch, the red shirt moment, the John predicting the weather. It's one of the few moments where I really like John's weird mystical shit, because I think it's actually really fun in that context. Specifically, I always think about the one shot where Jack's first run off and he comes out and everything around him is like bright green, and he like grabs hold of these ferns and his hands are like neon red from Saeed's blood, and it's all over his shirt, and it's just like the contrast is so good. It's filmed so well. I think the framing of so many of the shots are so amazing, and I just really love it. I just think it's incredible. I think it's an amazing episode, and I was really shocked by that. Because if you'd asked me, what's your favourite episode of season 1, even if you'd asked me like across the whole show, give me your top 10 episodes, whatever, I really don't think I would have come out with All the Best Cowboys before making this list.
Yeah.
But I was making it and I was just like, no, I do think it's the best episode. It's my favourite. It's amazing.
There you go. We're learning things about ourselves. We really are. I feel the same way, as in like, if you'd have told me at the beginning it was your number 1, I would have been shocked. But it also doesn't surprise me, because I know how much I know how much you love that episode, and the way that you feel about it has made me like it more. So that is really nice. Yeah. But I mean, and it's got the best title out of all.
It's got the best title as well, and I was like, it's such a funny title, but it's also so like, oh my god, you know, it's a bit like, it kind of gets you a little bit in the context of the episode. And it's very indicative of the show as a whole, of having like a bit of a funny title, but also all of them have daddy issues. Very much, that's a very important thing to the show. The story, it's a very good, as much as it's a bit of a different genre to what we're used to, I do think it's a very good kind of indicator of what the show as a whole is like.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess I'd agree.
In the same way, like, I would say the same about Solitary, I think.
Even though the majority of it's focused on a character who we've not even seen before.
Yeah, but I think it very much...
It's still an indicator.
It's very indicative of the show as a whole. And, like, numbers, I would say equally, but in a slightly different way, in that you have to have watched the show to understand why it's so important. But
and also something that a lot of people know about Lost is the numbers.
Yeah.
It's a big thing.
It's a bit different now.
Yes.
Because people kind of have heard about the numbers.
Yeah.
But watching it for the first time and knowing nothing about it, it's like so mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing. It is. It's huge. It's huge. Wow, so here we are. We've gone through our rankings. I feel I'm happy. I think because our ending, like, 3, I guess, I'm like, we see eye to eye. There have been some shocks along the way.
There have been some shocks, but I think that's really great. Because I think, like I said, I think it'd be really boring if we all agreed on everything,
yes.
you know? If we had the same opinions on the whole show.
The biggest gulf is the greater good, surely. Because
what number do you have the greater good at?
19.
And I have it at 5, so that's 14. Where do you have Do No Harm?
12.
Okay, yeah, that's 11 difference. So yeah.
Overall thoughts?
On the ranking the season?
It was hard.
It was
really tough.
Really genuinely very difficult. But I would say that what I am going to swap around the greater good and raised by another, I think. But other than that, I am happy with where they all are.
I might swap around special and Do No Harm.
Putting Do No Harm higher?
No. Putting Do No Harm too lower and special too higher. And possibly Numbers and Walkabout. But I feel strongly about how brilliant Walkabout is as an episode.
I mean, you leave Walkabout where you want to leave Walkabout, but
where did you put it?
13.
13.
I low-key want White Rabbit higher, but I'm not, because this was the other thing I was like, because I'm putting All the Best Cowboys at the top, I feel a bit better about putting White Rabbit lower, because I'm like, I've got the Jack episode right at the top, so it's like, it's okay, you know?
That's fair. I'm shocked about how low you ranked the Jin and Sun episodes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of shocked at that too, but I think, like, they're not my special little guys in the way that they are to you, you know?
That's fair.
So like, they're great episodes, and I love them, but I'm not as insane about Jin and Sun as you are, you know?
That's completely fair.
The crazy thing about Outlaws, though, is we both put it really low. I have it 20. You had it even lower than that, didn't you?
Yeah, 22.
But, like, Outlaws is where we have it all comes back around.
Yeah!
Which is, because I wanted to sort of talk about the kind of iconic quotes and moments from the season. And it all comes back around as something that neither of us really remembered being in the episode at all. But it's come up so many times.
It has.
And I think actually it's one of those, it's almost, to me, the same as, like, if we don't live together, we're going to die alone. And I'm a man of faith and you're a man of science. Like, it feels like it's almost on that level. They just don't bring it up again, really.
Yeah.
So we don't think of it as an iconic quote, but actually, it all comes back around, feels very much like a good...
Outlaws is a much better episode than I remember it being.
Yeah, me too.
It's got some really fantastic moments in it. But what you kind of remember is Sawyer's hunting down a boar.
Yeah, it's the on-island thing really fucks it. Because the flashbacks are really good.
Flashbacks are good. It all comes back around as a great thing. And also Sawyer hearing the whispers is pretty huge as well.
Yeah.
Because
then that's why Sawyer goes to Saeed.
Yeah.
Isn't it? And he's like, what did you hear?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't hear anything, I was disoriented.
Yeah.
Why, did you hear something? No? Didn't hear anything, just wondering. That seems so funny.
Yeah. And I like John's moment in that episode as well, where he talks about Jeannie and stuff.
Yeah.
But it did have to go low down for me, just because everything else in this series is so great, you know?
Yeah.
But
this is the problem, is it's like, ultimately, other than, like, Hearts and Minds, all the episodes are really good. You know?
Yeah, as I say, I would say Hearts and Minds, fucking awful. Confidence Man and Homecoming, they're also very, very bad. Other than that, I low-key like every episode.
It's like, ultimately, if I was to sit down with someone who was like, oh, I love Lost, should we watch it? And I said, just put on whatever. If they played any of the episodes from season 1, as long as it wasn't Hearts and Minds, I'd be like, sure, yay, you know? And even if it was Hearts and Minds, I would just be like, let's just clown on the episode together.
Yeah.
Like, I would be happy to watch any of these, really.
And I think this is a common trend with a lot of first seasons of television, where it's like, the writers are very much in their elements, you know, all their ideas are getting put on the table, they're setting up for things that they know they're going to pay off, or maybe that they don't know where it's going to go, but they're getting out, they're very creative, they're in their creative element. And I think that's certainly true for Lost.
Absolutely. And I think that's a lovely place to end it.
Yeah.
If you've got nothing else to say. This has been so much fun.
This has been really, really fun.
This has been like one of the best I would say the best record.
Yeah, I'd say
Apart
so.
from maybe, oh god, what was it? The one where we were recording in the evening and we were really tired. Son, Take the Baby.
That was the greater good.
That was the greater good.
Son, Take the Baby. That was hilarious.
That one was really fun because we had a lot of fun. But
if we're ranking our favourite records...
Dude, don't do that. My memory cannot do that.
I'm joking. My favourite moments of the podcast this season, definitely today, definitely Son, Take the Baby and that whole thing.
Recording in costume. Mario and Waluigi was amazing.
The biscuit ranking, that was so much fun.
That was really good fun. And the Mario Kart thing, I really enjoyed doing.
And then when we had Mum on.
Yeah,
that was lovely.
I loved talking to Mum. I had a lot of, we're really looking forward to doing more interviews next season.
We are indeed. Keep an eye out for that, people.
We'll be having a couple more. Those were some really fun episodes to do. Episode. Yeah, I've just had a lot of fun doing all of them, really.
Yeah. So thank you guys for letting us, make this thing.
Being here and being with us. And like, I remember thinking to myself, like, obviously we were like, we're doing it for us because we really enjoy talking about it. But I was like, oh, at the very least, like, we'll do the first season. And then if it's not really going anywhere, we can stop it then. But I'm like, absolutely not.
I'm so locked in.
I'm so excited to carry on. And literally every single bit of engagement we've had has been amazing.
Yeah, it really has.
So like, shout out to everyone who's listened. Shout out to, Crazy Woman in a Plane Crash on TikTok who like comments on all our videos. I love you, you're amazing. Leah from Texas.
We love you,
our favorite
Leah.
American. I love getting your messages and listening to your thoughts on the podcast. Shout out to my best friend Bathsheba, who has been our #1 fan from the beginning. She has listened to every single episode, even before watching the show. We dropped the pilot part 1 and I got a message 2 hours later saying, oh my god, so many of my questions are answered now about how the show works. And I was like, good, you're listening to it? You've not even watched it yet. Like, every single person.
Just thank you all so much for supporting us.
Anyone who's commented, anyone who's followed, anyone who's listened, anyone who's given us a review. Yeah. Like, it means so much.
To Mum and Dad for supporting us as well.
Absolutely.
To our wonderful housemates here in Manchester.
For letting us use the kitchen.
Oh my god, we've been going for so fucking long today. And I'm sure Callie's upstairs going, look, mate, can I just have a sandwich, please?
Yeah. So, yeah, just to everyone
all you
involved.
wonderful people who have made this possible, we love you lots, and we've been having so much fun, and I hope you've had fun today listening to us.
Yeah. And what's your favourite episode?
Yes, let us know. Oh my goodness. Do you agree? Do you disagree greatly?
Yeah.
With Velvet's assessment? Let us know.
Tell us. I want to hear. Maybe we'll post a little list so you guys can get like a comprehensive list of what our rankings were. Yeah. I've just had so much fun, and we're going to be taking a bit of a break.
We are indeed.
Over the summer again. So we'll be starting up season 2 again. The plan is to pick up around where we started season 1 last year. So sort of end of September, beginning of October time. But keep an eye on all of our social medias. We're planning a lot of other extra fun stuff.
We are indeed. Extra content.
So keep an eye on our YouTube channel especially.
Yep.
There's going to be extra stuff on there while we're not recording.
Absolutely. On Spotify, on Instagram, on Tumblr, on TikTok.
All kinds of stuff.
We're going to be posting all sorts of stuff.
So we're not disappearing for good.
No, we're not. I'm going to be back next season with even more earrings. I made it through a whole season without repeating earrings. Can you believe that?
That is crazy.
I own at least 27 pairs of earrings.
Because I was staring at my wardrobe this morning and I was like, God, which of these shirts have I not worn yet? I'm running out of clothes. This is like, Ariel has this crazy wardrobe full of so many clothes.
I'm a bit of a... I love... like fashion, and like I shop, like I wouldn't say like I'm shopping all the time, but like if I'm going out, I'm looking at the charity shops, I'm looking at the vintage shops, I'm scouring something. So I have so many clothes.
And I'm a lot more kind of like, I wear the same things over and over again. So the amount of variation in my outfits honestly has been an achievement.
It certainly has.
Yeah, I've had such a good time. I was thinking it's almost a year now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think it'll be a year in, I want to say a week, 2 weeks, to when I came to visit you at uni, and we got Zombie Lady from the arcades, and we took our logo picture, and we filmed that for those first couple of skits.
Wow, yeah.
'Cause that was June last year.
Yeah.
Beginning of June.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
That is
how
wild.
far we've come in a year is crazy to me.
Yeah. Also the fact that we've had the podcast for a year.
Yeah.
We should do a little birthday post.
Absolutely we will. And yeah, just thank you all so much for being here.
Yes, thank you. Oh, please keep an eye out on my social medias as well. So that's at Ariel Hebditch on Instagram, TikTok and YouTube. I'm going to be posting lots of content on there. I'm also doing my solo stand-up hour, Ariel Hebditch Skeleton Out of the Closet, on the 2nd of August in Camden, at the Museum of Comedy. That's for the Camden Fringe. So if you're based in London, please come along to that. That's going to be super fun. I'm also doing a date in October in Manchester. So if you're based in Manchester, please come down. The date and time and venue not confirmed yet, but if you keep an eye out on my social media, then it will be on there very, very soon, I'm sure.
Lots of exciting things happening.
Yes.
And yeah, we will see you again on our various social medias, but if not before, we'll see you for the beginning of season 2. And I cannot tell you just how excited we are.
Look, we can't say much, but what we can say, we've been talking about how season 1 is incredible and it's got almost all the episodes are really good and we love it. Season 2,
it only gets better.
Season 2 is so good. It's just so brilliant.
It's genuinely incredible.
God, the season 2 ranking is going to be hell on earth. It's going to be so painful.
Don't even talk to me.
This was painful enough.
We've got a year.
We've got a year to prepare for that mentally.
So we will see you for that. And we're so unbelievably excited for it. Thank you all so much for listening.
Have a wonderful summer. Make good choices. Have fun.
Hot girl summer.
Yes. Do it.
And we
lost summer.
Hot lost summer. Lost girl summer.
Yeah, it's probably better.
Works a bit better.
Lost summer.
Lost.
Son take the baby.
Son take the baby. Goodbye.